Is it frozen? Oh, hello, can you hear me? Is it good? Okay, that was weird. It's like she got stuck here. Yeah, I'm just gonna say really quick. Yeah, I do get upset when people advocate against trans kids, or if they don't want to understand that the process is. If they think as a parent that I don't, and that I've never crossed my mind that maybe my daughter would regret anything that's going on with her right now, you would be wrong. This is a very important topic to me, and I do get upset about it when people advocate against trans kids. And she didn't know enough about the topic to speak on it, and she did not want to be
Abby's
educated.
not muted. Abby be the host? I don't want to host my own live. Oh, am I actually muted? Can people that I actually trust confirm that?
What?
Am I muted?
No, I can hear you.
Because people are saying I'm muted and I want someone who I trust to confirm that I'm muted or not muted. Okay, I'm fine now. We're good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay. Just real quick. I went to a gay pride festival this weekend, and we had a booth there. And what I noticed is a lot of teenagers between the ages of 10 and older seem to dress in a mild to subtle pride festive. But when children between infant and 9, 10, 7, they were heavily adorned. And I mean, almost, and I'm not saying this disrespectfully, but comparable to like Halloween when you have a whole costume on, these kids from head to toe a lot of times were dressed in pride fashion. And I kind of noticed that the kids who could decide more what they wear were kind of just lightly in it, but the kids who couldn't decide, whose parents most likely dressed them, they were heavily adorned. Now, my second thing is, I'm gonna keep moving so I don't get stuck on anything, and then you can come back and let me know. Was that
First thing?
what happened?
Is your second thing related to the first thing?
Yes, it's all in the same order. It's all okay. Um, a little child kind of approached our booth, and he was wearing a Tigger, Winnie the Pooh and Tigger outfit. A costume was cute, and it was colored in pride fashion. And I said, I asked him, I said, "Hey, little man, are you Tigger?" And he was eating popcorn or whatever, and he smiled and yeah, and he was cute and everything. And I said, "High five! That's an awesome costume." And he was happy about it until I heard some rumbling, and I looked over, and I'm not sure which one of his moms, but one of them, the one that came over and grabbed him, picked him up, looked at me, and said, "Did you just genderize my child?" And I didn't really catch on because I didn't realize what I said. I didn't realize, huh? What happened?
Nothing. Go ahead. This sounds
I didn't realize what okay, well, I'm just trying to tell you what happened. I didn't realize what I said. I didn't realize, it didn't dawn on me that I said something that upset her. So it was the Pride Effect in Beery in Washington this last weekend, Pride Festival. So, I didn't really catch it, and I kind of looked at it like I didn't say anything rude to the child. I just was like, I liked his outfit. And then she said it again, but then she said, "Did you genderize my son?" And I looked at her like, "Did you just ask me the question that you're asking me that you just did?" So I kind of don't really understand how that's different for a parent to say versus me to say. And the last thing was,
Jesus,
I have a question. Now go ahead.
you're throwing a lot of topics here. Could we address some of them before you add more?
Well, the first one was the parents and the clothes. The second one was me, I guess, misgenderizing or genderizing the child.
Wait, what was the point of that story though? Like, are you asking Mal's opinion on that? Like, did you
I'm
correct
wondering,
yourself? Did you?
what I feel is like, what I'm saying is I feel like sometimes on both sides of the channel, parents push the agenda. Parents,
No.
not
Okay.
these.
Here's the thing. If you're going to a pride event, you shouldn't assume anyone's gender. Just
But see, I don't talk in gender. I'm an older guy. I don't use
Yes, you do.
pronouns. I don't
You
use.
just talked
I
in
just say.
gender.
I do. Okay, well, I do because this is what I've been doing my whole life. His, her, they. I don't cut what you're saying is, I understand what I'm trying to say is I understand that there's a new terminology today, but those don't really, in my memory cords aren't what I use.
Pronouns. No, this has been a thing. How old are you?
I'm 52.
Okay. You've been using pronouns your whole life. They're not new.
I use her, him, and they. I never use anything else.
Sure, that's
I, you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you got me there.
But
You
yeah,
got me
I,
there.
you, we,
She, yeah.
us.
I
So
mean,
when
we're really
said
not
to the-
expecting much more than that anyway. Like he, she, they, those are the main ones that we're asking you to use. We're just asking you to use the correct ones.
So when I
And if you're-
spoke to the child and I said, hey, little man,
The child was a boy. Did you call the child a girl? Like, what did you do?
I said, hey, little man. I said, hey, little man, are you Tigger? Is that Tigger? And he's like,
So
yeah. And
was the child a boy?
in what my world is, yes, he was a boy. What I would
Is it
say
all
is a
about
boy.
your world?
In what your world
What
is?
I-
You said you don't gender.
Let me ask you a
anyone?
question. When you look into the mirror, are you looking through someone else's eyes or yours?
It doesn't matter. You should never assume someone's gender, especially out of
It
private.
does matter. I'm asking you, when you look at the world, do you look at it through everybody else's eyes or yours?
You're supposed to look at it through yours, just like that person, that young person probably is too, and sees their gender maybe differently than you understand it.
So when
So
I
it's really
said
up to that little child and their gender and how they identify.
exactly. So
not
when
yours.
I said it, if that child had reacted differently, I would have caught on to what was going, because that child didn't act differently. They were happy that I was complimenting them on their outfit.
What
Is your point?
though? Are
Yeah,
you
is your
saying
point
you should
that-
be allowed to misgender someone and no one should say anything to you?
I think that maybe if the approach was you made a mistake, or versus how dare you, when it's not that intention in my mind wasn't to do that. My intention was to notice that this outfit was cute.
And it doesn't matter what someone's reaction was. If you made a mistake, own up to it. It's not a big deal. Move on. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize she was a girl. That's it.
I didn't now what if I said that and that was a misgender? Because I didn't even know what was going on. Like I said, when I said it, it was totally just appreciating the little cute look, the whole look.
Not the victim in this story, and you're making.
I'm not trying to be the victim. I'm trying to tell you that the person that reacted before I even had a chance to know what was going on. I didn't even realize a crime had been committed yet.
It's not a crime.
Nobody said a crime. Don't mischaracterize that. Nobody said it was a crime.
Well, it seemed to be a crime when the person that came to me was very upset that I said that.
Well, there probably is more to the story. Maybe you called this child the wrong gender multiple times. I don't know. It doesn't
No, I
matter.
said little man one time. That's it.
It's not about
The
you.
po-
No, there's nothing worse than little man. I can't stand that. But here's the thing. It's not about you. You misgendered a child. A parent got upset. Move on.
Right, but then that parent called her child a son. So can you explain that to me?
No,
I call this
can't.
fake.
No, I cannot. I don't know what was going on. I wasn't there.
So you can't explain it, so you call it fake?
Well,
I
because
was not there. Who said it was?
yeah, I
Who-
said it was
you-
fake. I'm
somebody
calling
said.
it fake. I think it's fake. We weren't there, so have this discussion anyway. I can't prove that it's fake. You can't prove that it's true. So get to the story. Like, get to the point of the story. You like Mel asked you, do you think we should just let you go on and misgender people and everybody just has to be okay with your mistakes? Like, what's the point? We weren't in
I
that
think at some
situation.
point-
We're not that
Right,
parent.
what
So
you
why
should have
we don't?
learned from this is to stop assuming children or people's gender, especially at a pride event.
Okay.
Yeah,
back to
Big,
the
I think this
assuming.
is
So,
pretty silly, to be totally honest with you. I think if you were to engage with anyone else on the street and you were to talk to them and you made some assumption about them and they snapped at you for whatever reason, I don't think you would tie this to some broader political idea and attack a broad movement. You would probably be more generous and
wait,
say,
wait,
hey,
wait,
maybe
I'm
they're
asking
having a
a
bad
question.
day. You know, if they're at a public event, you know, maybe they're stressed out. Maybe they don't know where one of their kids is. Maybe they're just
I
going
agree
through
with
some
that.
shit.
I agree
And just
with
to be like, okay, my bad. I apologize that I did that. and just to walk away. You do that in every other fucking scenario. I don't know why you wouldn't do that here.
What I done is what I'm telling you. When this happened, I was caught off guard. Like I didn't realize. My mind didn't go.
Fine.
Hey, this is a bad assumption. You shouldn't assume. My mind was like, what happened? And at that time, then when she said my son, I was like, oh, now I'm totally. I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, maybe she misspoke. Maybe she was confused. Who knows what happened? But I think you're attributing their actions, this person's actions, to like a broader issue with the movement, which I just think is super rushed. I think you're also forgetting that probably these parents have to deal with like constantly people or their kids being misgendered or other shit, and they're probably just tired of it. That's an exhausting thing to deal with all the time. You experience like a quarter of a percentile, or like 0.001% of your life, you're probably going to be dealing with a scenario of like a frustrated parent when it comes to gendering. It's like, and it never fucking happens. But for that parent, that probably happens a lot. It's tiring. It's exhausting. So just have a bit of patience. I understand that it's not nice to be snappy at someone, but I don't think you would hold anyone else to the same standard of like, you need to be nice to me always, and you need to explain it, and every single like queer person or parent of a queer person that I run into needs to be, very gracious and explain everything in a perfect, coherent way. You wouldn't have this attitude towards any other person, so I don't know why you're doing this now.
I like what you said. I was very, I was like, thank you. I'm enjoying what you're saying, but you're misjudging me. Is that I wouldn't care if it was anyone. If you snap at me, I need to know why. I don't care, and I'm not a person that go, oh, they're having a bad day, let it go. I'm not that kind of person. I'm the person that goes, hey, what did I do? Because I need to know so I don't do it again. Or what
did they say? Hold on. Did you ask them? What did you do?
No, I didn't get a chance because then the other person grabbed them and they kind of just mumbled and walked off. And I was like,
oh, and they walked away. Okay, so you had no chance to engage further. They were probably busy. Maybe they wanted to go get food or something like that. That's fine. That's totally fine. You're making I'm sorry, it seems you're making a big deal out of nothing. You're going to run into people all the time. They're dealing with shit and they're going to snap at you. And while it's good to encourage being nice and being open and talking about disagreements, I think you're blowing this way out of proportion.
Also, I would say you have to consider the fact that like maybe you did or didn't misgender the child, but for them, even if you did on accident, whatever, if you did, that probably isn't the first time they heard that day. Like, yeah, you're a pride. It doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to get misgendered, though. Like, people in the lives, the people are like, what's your pronouns? And I'll say she, they, and then I immediately spam with him, he, all this other stuff. And people come in the live and do the same thing. It's something that happens. Like, I'm kind of used to it at this point. It's not something I want to have to deal with, but, like, you have to understand that some people, especially people who use different pronouns than what they might present as, or, like, what they might stereotypically appear as, that you doing it probably isn't the first time. And so you kind of have to give them some leeway as to, like, okay, you have to consider, like, yeah, you did it once on accident, but maybe this is the 15th time today, and it's really frustrating to keep being misgendered over and over again. So, like, you have to consider that, like, they might get more of it all throughout the day, and it's not just the one instance interaction you had with them.
Right, okay.
Great. And were you here for the previous guest?
The young lady that was all over the place?
That kept, like, speaking against trans kids, and I was trying to explain it, and then she got really mad at me because I was getting upset. Yeah, when people are invalidating my child every single fucking day, I do jump and react, right? Maybe more than people think I should, but this is something that I deal with all the time.
I guess my whole point coming in here was that I'm looking, like, I believe everyone has the right to live their life they choose to live. I don't want to speak against anybody living how they choose to live, but I do sometimes wonder if people are over aggressive in their desires and they put those on their children. That's all that was kind of going with that first piece. Because it seemed like to me, no, not you, please, no, please, hold on. It just seemed like the older kids kind of dressed the way they wanted to more, and the other kids, the younger kids, were kind of put into what made the parents happy. I don't know. Because some of them were babies and younger, 2s and 3s. Hello?
Isn't that kind of how it works? Isn't that what happens? Parents dress their kids until they make their own decisions?
Yes. But So exactly. So I'm looking at what you said. Stop pushing kids to be straight, and I think isn't that kind of like we should do with both kids?
Have Have you ever seen like those onesies that say like "lady killer" or like stuff like that?
Oh,
Or "I love
yeah,
boobies"? Everybody got my kids
Magnet.
those. The "I love
right,
boobies."
right, right,
Yeah,
right. Those are sexist.
like yeah,
I never bought any of those. Yeah, yeah, I got you.
Those are accepted in society.
right. It's also pushing like heterosexuality onto children.
Right. I see you. Got you.
Yeah, and
I appreciate that. I didn't mean to come in here and be harsh or aggressive. I just trying to find some. What do I do in the next? I guess for me, trying to not, like I said, everybody needs to grow their own grass, and I'm just trying to be a good neighbor, to say. But I just felt like it
Sure,
was
and
coming off a
neighborliness
little.
means compassion, understanding the context of other people or other groups of people, and knowing that they're not going to have the exact same circumstance. That marginalized people are probably going to experience a range of difficulties that you just won't be able to fully understand, and that's why a bit of understanding and compassion is always important. And it all, yeah. So getting off of Twitter, I'm not saying use Twitter, but getting off of Twitter and getting off of all the places where conservatives aggressively signal boost any type of trans person or queer person that's just having a slightly bad day and talk to trans people and queer people in real life is really important. And most people don't do that. Their entire experience of the community is just online. And I think that's a pathetic way
Well,
of viewing someone
most of my
is people that are
experiences,
just filtered through corporate bullshit.
most of my experience is more with people like Jeffree Star than trans. So that's probably where I've never really had.
Jeffree Star's not trans, and he's
And,
trash.
and that's kind of what I said. Um, I'm used to. I lived in a certain neighborhood in Seattle, and I went to school there. I was around a lot of people. I worked there, so I got used to a certain. This is before COVID and before I guess the word transgender was being used, and people like Jeffree Star is more who I was around or who I seen or who I talked to. I haven't really had anyone that I know close to me, not even uh, in what I do for a living, uh, transgender. So I never had that full conversation. I mean, I see people who are transgender and, high and by, and it's that's just the way the world is. But I've never had a sit down conversation and just drink coffee and have that conversation. I don't know anyone. If I did, it would be a total stranger.
uh-huh.
So anyway, I appreciate the time. Like I said, I would be short. I didn't want to come in here and thrash you, but I was just trying to find some understanding and a middle ground for the next time because like I said, I felt bad, but I was confused and I didn't really know which way to go with that. The third thing I forgot. Don't worry about it.
Compassion. And just really quick though, so do you think that these young kids should not be dressed in pride gear? Like, what was your purpose of that?
No, no. Well, now that I can think, was it Debbie or no? Whoever said who brought up the booby shirts and the onesies and all that. I didn't look at it that way. Um, I've raised Lord Jesus, I've raised children, and we kind of let them develop who they want to be within themselves. I guess I don't like the, show me your boobs, or I don't like, I never liked any of that kind of stuff. I just, not the way I was raised. But looking at that perspective, I can see where we do that as a country, as a people. We tend to dress our children, I guess, in the straight or heterosexual fashions. So it's when I first came on, I kind of thought that the representation was being put on the children more than it was on the mid adults or the young teenagers. And looking back at what the other person said, I can understand that now. That we do that as people. We put children in the clothes that we want and how we like, and then when they get older, they make their own decisions. So it's irrelevant. It's just, yeah. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, just letting people be people and healthy parenting is kind of the most important thing. I think people just forget the double standards that are all throughout society. So yeah, that self-awareness is really important.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There was a comment I wanted to address about Jeffree Star. Somebody said that they go by any pronouns, and that's not true. Jeffree Star actually disagrees with non-binary people. That's part of the reason why he's trash. He's also pretty racist, and he said some other really
I
awful
have
things.
I have the whole
Yeah.
anti-non-binary quote pulled up right now.
Yeah, Abby read it earlier. It's terrible. So that's why he's trash. He's not trans. He's a cisgender, very transphobic man.
All right, I'm canceling all requests just because I have a lot that are still sitting here.
I'm going to go too because my battery is dying as always. So love, love, love.
Aw, all right, thank you. Bye.
Thanks for letting me know.
All right, the box is empty, so if you want to request, go ahead.
Yeah, not to like say that his story didn't happen, but I feel like I hear so many of these stories of like these random encounters with trans and queer people. And it's always negative. Part of me feels like they're like a lot of it's just they take shit from Twitter, and they say it's a story or something that they actually experienced.
In the same way that people say they all have trans friends, which I'll do that for a second. But yeah, the accidentally misgendering stories apply to themselves and have someone freaked out. I hear it all the time, and it seems very probably not real. But all right, hello.
Hello?
What's up?
Can you hear me? All right.
Uh-huh.
All right. So my question is, I hear you guys talking about stop pushing kids, or do or don't. However, at what age do you think that gender affirming care should become accessible?
Whatever age that a kid needs it.
Okay, and so no specific age, just whenever.
With therapy, like when it becomes like anything medical, it starts with therapy, and there's no harm in therapy for children of any age.
I could agree with that. I mean, I definitely agree that there's not. However, okay, so you say at any age, what type of care do you think is appropriate at any age? I mean, I understand you start with just therapy, but say it goes further than that. I'm sorry.
So puberty blockers would be like container stage 2 of puberty. That is going to vary on. What is that noise?
I'm sorry. Is that better?
It's like a feedback from his end.
I got a cooler for my computer that might be making some noise.
Oh, it's a full echo now.
Now, is it still bad?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have headphones?
I don't have any on right now. I've got it open on my phone.
Yeah, it's back.
Might have to rejoin. Sometimes notifications cause audio issues.
Would
headphones? Yes.
All right. Do you want me to just try to connect some real quick and see what happens?
Sure.
How's y'all's morning going?
Now I forgot we were talking about, but
Not horrible.
Yeah, my financial aid offer for school just came in, so that's cool.
Oh,
yeah.
Positive?
All right, so is that better?
7,000 for the year or something.
Oh, hell yeah, nice.
No, you still have feedback. I don't know. Wait, maybe it stopped. Did it stop?
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, sounds good now.
I think it's better.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, what did we say? Oh, puberty blockers would be Tanner stage 2 of puberty, and that depends on the child and when they go through puberty.
Okay, so you're saying that that puberty blockers are appropriate for children under 18, or your?
Yeah, what age do children go through puberty?
Well, typically it's between 13 and 18.
No, it's not.
Well, I'm sorry. What age is it then?
The average is between 9 and 11.
That's when they start puberty. Puberty is a process. You start puberty and then you develop through puberty, and typically by 18 years old, you're completely developed.
Puberty has to be blocked In Tanner stage 2, there are 5 stages of puberty.
Right. Typically, your end stage happens between 18 to 20,
So,
21-ish.
You have to block puberty with puberty blockers towards the beginning.
Okay.
In Tanner stage 2.
What do you think the point of puberty blockers are? I feel like you're missing the ball here.
I mean, the point of puberty blockers is just that: is it's to prevent puberty from developing. From you developing into or developing the hormones that you would have naturally developed. That's what puberty blockers is. That's how puberty happens. Your hormones
so if you take them at 18, you lose all of the purpose of puberty blockers because the overwhelming majority of development's already happened.
Right. So you would have been developed, or not fully developed, but you would have been toward your end stages of being developed.
You cannot block puberty at the end of puberty. You have to block it at the beginning. Puberty blockers are used in Tanner stage 2.
Yeah, I understand. I get what you're saying. You gotta, in order for puberty blockers to be fully effective in the way that you probably want them to be, you need to start them before puberty actually starts. However,
you start them during Tanner stage 2 of puberty. Puberty has to have started.
Okay.
That's why you can't put an age on it, because you have to wait until the child goes through puberty or starts puberty.
Okay, so how do you guys feel about giving a puberty blocker to anybody that is not approved by the FDA? Would you administer a puberty blocker to, say, somebody who's 9 or 10 in their second stage?
They are approved by the FDA.
They're approved.
There is absolutely no puberty blocker approved for gender dysphoria by the FDA.
Yeah, you're talking about off-label use. Off-label use is done for a shit ton of other medication. It's done all the time. In order to get FDA approval for every single use, it would take, unironically, probably hundreds of years to go through all of that and approve for each off-label use. So we give doctors the discretion to be able to use them for off-label purposes based upon scientific evidence and research from institutions.
Right. So basically what they're doing with these when they, yes, the drugs that they give for puberty blockers are approved by the FDA. However, they're not approved by the FDA for the specific symptoms that,
so it's
I guess,
off-label use.
I'm sorry?
Like critically was saying, off-label use. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, what's the issue with off-label use?
That it's not labeled for that. And that it seems a bit dangerous, maybe?
No, it's for the same exact purpose, though. It's to block puberty. Same exact purpose.
Okay, so say methiopropamine, right? MPA, we'll call it MPA. That's a drug that's used for puberty blocking. It's also used for chemical castration. It has been used.
So if you know the difference between GANH agonists, if I'm saying that correctly, the difference between the two is, one, if you're talking about people that have already been through puberty, so the chemical castration tends to come from GANH agonists, and they're in much larger doses.
We're getting that weird echo again. Can you mute yourself when you're not speaking?
I'm not 100% sure how. Oh.
On the bottom, there you go. You got it. All right, go ahead, Crazylib.
I got you.
Yeah, so you're missing the fact that all it's doing is preventing the release of hormones. So when it comes to chemical castration, the goal is to stop the release, basically entirely, of a sex hormone in order to completely eliminate one's sex drive. It's kind of the purpose. So they're generally given in much larger doses, and it applies to people after puberty. So all I think this is a fear-mongering tactic to tie it to what we do to pedophiles or something like that, which is completely ignorant of the science.
Well, it's not something that I don't hear anybody coming on here talking about drugs that are approved by the FDA. I hear people arguing with feelings and not facts. This is my own research. This is, from my background in medical. This is just stuff that I've learned over the years. I've had a lot of to do with the CDC and the FDA. So these are points that are not brought up when doctors are
Yeah.
talking about doing some sort of puberty blocker or anything like that. Yes, I agree that the MPA is given. I'm sorry, the MPA is given in the later stages of puberty or being an adult. However, it's still the same drug, and to me, using a drug that's not labeled for gender affirming or gender dysphoria, and that same drug is used for chemical castration, but they're like, hey,
Again, it's
we yeah
different
we
doses. It's the dosing is different. The longer period of time, like when children are, you got to mute again. There's just feedback. When a child is on puberty blockers, for the purpose of gender dysphoria, they are usually, it's a minimum of, or a maximum of 3 years. We do know that there are risks if you go beyond, the longer you're on them. So I just feel like you just, for some reason, don't think trans kids need puberty blockers, and you're trying to find excuses to make them bad.
Question:
Well,
Do you have a problem? Wait. Question: Do you have a problem with Viagra being used?
I mean,
For example.
to be quite honest with you, I have a problem with the majority of Western medicine.
That's not
Do
a
I,
problem. That's a
you
you
know,
problem.
okay, well, that's like me saying, well, this trans issue is a you problem. I'm not coming on here doing that to you though. I mean,
Not an
this
issue.
stop pushing kids to be straight, stop pushing kids to be cis. That's a you problem technically. I mean, yeah, that can be applied to everything. That's not a problem that I have. That's an opinion that I have. All right. So
Trans
I'm
people
not
are an
going,
issue.
Your opinion on all medications makes this, like, your opinion on this irrelevant, because when my child or I get recommended something by a medical professional, when they say, hey, I think you should take this medication because the benefits outweigh the risks, I'm going to listen to my doctor and not you, who is anti-medication.
right. And I'm not asking you to listen to me. I'm not asking you, I'm not on here trying to change your guys' mind. I'm trying to, your doctor has your doctor told you that this drug is not approved when he signs you up for it? Does he say, hey, this isn't approved by the FDA for
There
what
is
I'm
in the
treating
box,
this
I
for?
think.
What's that?
In my box.
Telling me now someone's in the box that wants to talk to you.
Hold on, let me add Sherry in. Let's see. Hello, Sherry. Were you told that the puberty blockers were going to be used in off-label use?
Yes, for both forms, the Lupron Depot shot and the Hystrulin implant for both, yes.
There you go. So they're doing it for me.
Most medications are used off-label. Some medications that are used for depression also treat seizures. Most medications have multiple different functions. That's a fact. So I don't understand what his argument is.
Yeah, even like my husband was put on like a sleeping medication that was actually used for like blood pressure. Like blood pressure was like the main use,
Right.
But they found, hey, this actually helps people sleep. So yeah, things are used off-label all the time, and you are informed.
Yep, totally informed, and it's the parent's choice, the patient's choice, and the doctor's choice collectively to decide what medication is correct for the kids. And you do blood work to check before, you do constant updates and checks to make sure that you're not having any adverse reactions, or they would change the medication or stop it altogether. It's the same with all meds.
And
This
and
is-
if it's too late, if it's too late by that point, like if you're prescribing something, and I'm talking specifically about people under the age of 18, kids, I'm not going to give my 10-year-old a drug that's used for off-label use.
Again,
But
puberty blockers are used on children only.
Right.
okay, so if your doctor prescribes your child a puberty blocker and it winds up harming them beyond something that's capable of being fixed, you would be okay with that.
You are informed.
Okay, so what happens is when I got the medication for the puberty blockers for my kid, which yes, he took at 12 years old, you look at all the possibilities of side effects, and then you do what you can to manage those. So like I said, looking for injection site swelling or redness or nausea, things like that. Then beyond that, you do things like you have bone scans to check your bone density. And then the doctors only use the medication for a limited time. There are things that you do along the way to ensure that you're not going to have long-term reactions. That's why they're recommended for a certain amount of time, and it's highly monitored. And yes, I gave it to my 12-year-old because that's what he needed, because the risk was less than the reward, which was great. And he had no adverse reactions.
Okay, so basically everybody here is in agreement that giving an off-label drug to a child because of how they feel that it is appropriate.
No,
because they feel that's
blockers literally gives you more time. The puberty blockers are fine because they give you more time.
Wait, what do you mean how they feel that it is? What does that mean? What do you mean?
As a child feeling one way or another, their gender.
Not a feeling.
No,
Not a feeling.
Based on the therapist. It's based on the therapist and the doctor's recommendation after a diagnosis of gender dysphoria. You do not just give kids puberty blockers because they feel a certain way. That's not how it works. You go through a long process of therapy. Long. I'm talking 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. 6 months, I haven't even heard of that short. I'm talking like 1 to 2 years of therapy first. Then you get a recommendation from a therapist and a recommendation from an endocrinologist after a full workup. Then you do medication.
Okay. So when you go and see this therapist, is it one, like you specifically, or however you guys feel about it, do you see one therapist, or do you see maybe like 2 or 3 and get a couple opinions?
I saw 5. We saw 5.
Hey, why is that your business?
My child saw 1, and I was comfortable with her.
Well, as I said, it's not a question that has to be answered. It is not my business. However, that's we're not on here for people's business. It's you guys answer the question if you feel comfortable answering it. If you don't, all you got to do is say that. She obviously felt comfortable answering the question,
Sure,
and that was a conversation between me and her.
Sure, but why does it matter? My child had 1 therapist, and I was fine with that.
Well,
Because
even if it doesn't matter, that's fine. He can agree that it doesn't matter. It's fine. But Michael, I'm so confused because you have stated that you don't trust Western medicine. So how do you think you're going to navigate this conversation where you're going to come out the other side with any different opinion?
I'm not looking for a different opinion.
What's your point?
So you just want to find the opposite opinion clarified so you can do what with it?
Understand it.
Okay, I have a question for him. So
And you're not trying to learn. You don't care. You want another opinion.
If you don't believe in medications, okay, and like, modern science treatment, what, in your opinion, is the non-medical treatment for gender dysphoria? So a child who is in great distress related to their gender. Great distress. So what's the treatment for that?
Okay, so when you say great distress, do you mean mental? Do you mean physical when you say distress?
Both.
Yeah.
Both.
Both? Okay, well that's going to, for me, that would be 2 different roads. If you've got a kid that's in mental distress, I think that, I've heard everybody on here talk about, evolving language, evolving, just everything's evolving. Kids do the same thing. If it's a mental thing that they're having an issue with, then why do we block puberty can we not just go talk to somebody, or maybe talk to a couple different people? If
That's
that's
called
if that's
conversion
okay?
therapy. That's called conversion therapy. It's been proven not
Yeah.
to work. Like I
Those
stated,
changes.
you do
Hold on.
therapy for at least 1 to 2 years before
You're
you
gonna
start
mute again.
puberty blockers. And that does not relieve the symptoms. And yes, it's mental, and mental disorders can cause then physical problems.
Right,
So
but
it's not just the mental emotional distress, but there's also physical problems.
Hold on, Sherry. Puberty has shown to be one of the biggest causes of gender dysphoria in these children. That's why you block puberty, because that can help reduce the stress by a ton.
And often the argument is, what if someone regrets? But the argument is never, what if you don't go on puberty blockers for 2 years, you go to therapy for 2 years, you come out the other side and go, man, I really wish I went on puberty blockers because this is all valid and this is all real. That's a regret that people have when people like you get their way.
Sherry actually has an experience with that.
Right.
Okay,
so my son was on puberty
go
blockers. My son was on puberty blockers for 2.5 years, right? And then now he's on HRT. However, there was a holdup when he started puberty. Like Mel said, you start blockers at 10 or stage 2, and he wasn't able to. And so he started to go through the changes of female puberty, and it was highly distressing. Therapy does not relieve the distress. Praying it away, thinking it away, hoping it away does not change the distress of my boy who's growing breast and having a period. The mental anguish that caused on him not taken away by therapy. Not only was it mental anguish, but then it gave him symptoms such as stomach aches and cramping in the stomach and back aches and body aches from feeling so much distress.
And they could get insomnia.
Okay, well,
severe depression.
Right, I could agree, but there's a lot of things that can cause all those issues. I mean, we're not,
And we go to a therapist,
other things.
and we go to a therapist, and we address this, and the therapist looks at the symptoms and says, what is causing this? And then the therapist gave my son a diagnosis of gender dysphoria. The only recommended treatment for gender dysphoria in this country is to have gender affirming care, which at that time, in that stage, the appropriate step for him was puberty blockers. That is the only treatment.
So you came up here saying you're not here to convince anyone of anything else, but that's exactly what you're doing. You continue to double down on defending the reason why you don't like Western medicine and why you fail to understand why people would go through anything regarding Western medicine. You're sitting here just trying to convince us that you have a valid opinion when everything that science shows is that your opinion is bullshit.
And what about what about my opinion is bullshit? And why does my opinion have less validation than your opinion?
You're talking it's 2 moms of trans kids here and a trans person, right?
Right, and my daughter is also trans.
I would say their opinion matters way more.
Your daughter is also trans?
Yeah, my 14-year-old daughter, yeah. So, you're not the only ones in the room.
Your poor daughter.
Was she born male?
My daughter gets the care she needs. Don't worry about it.
Was she born male?
Oh my God.
No, she was born female.
Worry about your
daughter. So you're misgendering
her.
Everybody else is
misgendering him.
Kidding me?
You hypocrite.
I'm sorry. Are you trying conversion therapy? Is that your method? Is that what you're trying? Because you do know that scientifically that has been proven not to work and it causes more harm than it does help, right? You do know this, right?
Yeah, I also know that she was diagnosed
right? If you don't lose her physically, you will lose her in the future.
Mel.
And it's not your daughter.
Wait. I want to hear this. They were diagnosed with what?
With rapid onset gender dysphoria.
Okay,
Todd,
wait.
What?
That was a book published by a hack. That's not anything that the medical community respects.
Diagnosed her with that.
That's not
He's
the
a
DSM.
liar. He was trying to fucking relate.
Why does my side? How come? And I noticed this.
You're making shit up. You're not supporting your kid, or you're a fucking liar. Which one is it?
Am I able to talk while without being cut
Yeah,
off?
which one is
that
it?
possible?
Which
Because
one?
I see a lot of people come in here, and I come in with a valid argument, and I
No,
come
you
in
don't.
with some information that I
You're
find that I find
misgendering
that,
your child and saying she has rapid onset gender dysphoria, which has been debunked. That's not
That's not a
true.
thing.
It was
Okay,
If that
it was a
child
biased
gets sick,
study.
it's not
they're
been
gonna
debunked.
hate you. That child will
Yes,
come
it
to you
has.
and hate you.
Hold on. TOB. Could you tell me the parameters of that study and the methodology? Because I've read this study, and I'm assuming like Abby has as well. Can you tell me what the study is? What it looks like?
What do you mean the study looks like?
The person who coined the term, a rapid onset gender dysphoria, and published a book around it, did so based on a research, the specific study that they conducted. Can you tell me what that study was? I don't know what your experience with your doctor is. I think your doctor's probably a hack. But the study came from a survey of parents who were reached out to on anti-trans websites to see from the parents' perspective what happened to their child. And the parents only, and it was just a really basic survey that just asked if the changes of their child identifying as trans came about when they were active on social media. And from that, they created this entire concept of rapid onset gender dysphoria, which the study is a terrible methodology. It didn't have a control group. It would not be accepted or published by any large institution. It was simply dog shit.
And doctors.
Okay, well, the same doctor that's out here diagnosing this is also
They're not
prescribing puberty
diagnosing
blockers.
There
rapid
is no
onset
diagnosis.
dysphoria.
That is
It's
not a
fucking
diagnosis.
thing. It
Look in the
actually takes a
DSM.
long time to diagnose.
Okay,
It
all right,
takes a long
but here's my
time.
thing.
It takes
Fine,
a
all right. I'm
long
not
time
arguing that it
to
is or it is not.
diagnose gender
Where
dysphoria.
are-
I'm
wait,
going
I
to
have a
keep talking
question.
over
I'm
you
not
if you're
arguing
not
that it
gonna
is
Where
or
are you?
is not a
There
thing.
is.
I'm
I'm curious
saying
where
that
he's
the
at.
same doctor who used this as a diagnosis is also prescribing puberty blockers. I mean, you guys say he's a quack, he's a fake, he's not real, but he's out here prescribing puberty blockers to people. This crazy ass doctor is prescribing puberty blockers to kids.
Has your kid gone to therapy?
How do you know?
Has your kid gone
Because
to
that's
therapy?
what he does.
Have you gone to therapy?
Yes, she goes twice a week.
Are you in Florida?
Absolutely.
TOB.
I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it.
Can you point
Out of all
to
50
a
states,
medical
I
journal,
fucking knew it.
Oh my God,
or
your
can
poor
you point to
kid.
any medical institution which has a journal or a guide which refers to rapid onset gender dysphoria? Because it's not in the DSM-5.
Yeah, that doctor should be.
Okay. Again,
Wait,
I didn't
before you move
research that, and I was not aware of it until I was told by our doctor.
Yeah, if what you're saying is true, your doctor's a quack, dude. I'm just letting you know.
So Mel, you have a cash
But
app,
he's
but
out,
just
but
before
the same doctor
before
is
you
out
kick
here
him.
prescribing medication.
Before you,
Thank you.
wait, before you
I was
wait.
Go ahead, hurry up.
First off, before you get kicked, I don't care if I get taken down this, whatever. You're a piece of shit because you didn't bring up the fact that your son, not your daughter, not she, her, he, him, your son is trans until you're backed into a corner and being being pushed on your thing of rapid onset gender dysphoria. You're a fucking piece of shit. You're using your child as a chess piece for your argument. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, when my daughter did decide that she wanted to be a little boy and she decided that she wanted to use different pronouns, we did actually switch over. But over about the last 3 months or so, she's decided that she thinks she's probably more of a girl now.
He hates you.
Yeah, this is a made-up story.
Yeah,
This
sure.
is a made-up story. Made up.
Absolutely.
This is a story that you saw on Reddit or something like that, or that you made up yourself. You're wasting time.
I was told to rapid onset yeet him. So thank you. Appreciate that.
That was Kai. That's amazing.
And did you hear what he said at the end? He said that his kid is now thinking, "Oh, now I want to be a girl." Yeah, no, this is a made-up story.
Rapid onset gender dysphoria isn't real.
Or sometimes these kids who are not supported will go back to try to get their parents to accept them.
100%.
That's a real
exactly
thing.
what I was going to say. If
Sherry, you're muted. Oh, you had a call?
Yeah, call.
Yeah, that's a thing too. So, I mean, it's possible that he absolutely could have made that up or not.
He was tacking on shit to it all throughout when he was being challenged. It just sounded like a post hoc story that wasn't actually a real
I
experience.
sure hope, for the kid's sake, that the kid doesn't exist
Me too. Absolutely. If
as
you
like
are in
a
the
fake
process,
thing,
can
not
you
as a don't want them
agree?
alive.
Can you please withdraw your? What'd you say? Sorry, I was talking.
Oh, I was saying that I meant it as like a I hope they don't exist because it's a fake story, and not a don't exist because I don't want them alive anymore.
Oh, oh.
Oh fuck.
Well, at least it
What
gave you a
happened?
warning this time.
Oh, got a warning. Damn.
Yeah. Let me let Jane in.
Well, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like I've talked to them before, and yeah, I think they are just they come in pretending to be like a postured, well thought out person, but I think they're unhinged with their with their beliefs.
I don't know why people are so fucking stuck on this if it doesn't have anything to do with them. It's just wild to
Also,
me.
with the off-label use, I guarantee most of the people complaining about the off-label use were absolutely fawning for like ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine during COVID, which not only is entirely off-label, it's not even for remotely similar use, and there's evidence against its efficacy. Yet, if ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine were banned, they would be like up in arms, like outraged.
Absolutely. That's a very good point. Hello, Jack.
Yo,
How old are you?
18,
What year were you born?
04.
Okay, what's up? What's up? Hello.
Earth to Jack.
Hello.
I was about to say that. Damn, Jane, same wavelength.
Fucking weird. Okay, next.
So, did you notice in Bradley's life how, like, I threw a monkey wrench in his whole argument?
Wait, whose?
Hello?
The ones that we were on, the one you and I were both on, arguing with.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to remember what the
Bradley Carbon.
I'm trying to remember what the discussion was. What's up, Omaha?
How you doing?
I was watching too and I don't remember.
I was just here for a moment. I just want to ask just a few questions just to kind of get an understanding.
Okay.
Quickly, when a child is born, are we saying that we don't just go ahead and say, oh, I got a daughter or I got a son? That's number one.
Wait, what did you say?
So number one, let's go. So a child is born.
Uh-huh.
Do we go ahead and make it known to like our friends and family members that, oh, I got a daughter or I got a son? Is that a form of actually placing a gender on this child?
That is placing a gender on the child, yeah. But can you
Oh,
do that? Sure.
so you're saying that it's okay for a parent to do that at that point, correct?
Yeah. The majority of kids are cisgender, so I think
Up
that's
until
fine.
the otherwise.
Yeah.
Go again, Jane. I didn't get that.
Up until they tell you otherwise.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to get that information out there. Thank you much.
All right, was that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Well,
Weird.
It was when he was going down that metaphysical skeptic route, and I asked him like, how do you prove that you're conscious?
oh yeah, the whole
Yeah.
companions in guilt, where if you say, oh, we can't create concepts around what's in people's minds because we can't really know, and it's not based in fact, and it's just like, okay, great, good job, you've ruined our entire ability to engage with each other because we can't understand there's a mind at all. We can't empirically verify that at all.
Hi.
Hi. What's up?
So, I totally respect everything that, you're going through with your child. Um,
Mhm.
but I wanted to ask one thing. How do you feel about, I don't know if you've seen the story, Megan Fox, she has 3 boys, and all 3 of them dress as girls.
I have not seen a story about that at all.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
I don't
Let's say
care what where.
3 boys, born boys, let's say, which again, I'm sorry if I'm misgendering anyone, but and all 3 of them dress as girls. Like, what are the statistics on that? Like, how is that possible?
Wait, what?
That's gender expression, and you
No,
can wear what
let's
you
say
want.
that all 3 of them apparently want to be girls.
No,
Wait,
it sounds like they're just
from what I see
expressing.
on, yeah, wait, from what I see on, it's just they would just sometimes wear more feminine clothing. That's it. I had a youth pastor when I went to church, and he's a bigot, but like all of his kids had long hair and wore like more. I think he really liked Eastern culture, so it wore more clothes accustomed to like Eastern culture, and it looked more feminine. Happens
Okay,
all the
but you
time.
don't
It's
think
fine.
that
I
a
don't.
lot of
Nobody
I
complains about
understand,
this
but
stuff.
like you don't think that some parents right now are like blowing things out of proportion by like pushing it on their children?
No, do you think you can actually get boys to dress like girls if they don't want to?
I don't think so.
So
But it depends though. She's been dressing them up like girls since they were little.
she's been dressing them up like girls, or they've been
Yes.
wanting to wear these specific clothing and she's allowing it. There's a big difference.
But all 3 boys, all 3 of them,
So what?
I just think that this whole pushing it on, I feel like it's being pushed on the children.
It's not. It's not. You cannot get a child to like they don't want if they don't want to do something, they're going to fight against it. It's not what's being pushed is the things that are here. Children are being pushed to be straight. It's more accepted in society to be straight.
Okay, but
Kids that are trans are more likely to get pushed to be cis. People are, no, you're not trans. You were assigned female at birth. You have to be a girl.
Fully developed.
Yeah, that's what happens more often.
So, doing a cursory search, I looked at it and they're only talking about one child, and their name
but
is
it's all
Noah.
3 of them.
Just a cursory search, but here's my question to you. Is it that they're trans, or is it that they want to wear dresses? Because based off what I'm seeing, all they're saying is that one of the children is trans and the rest want to wear dresses. That's based off what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Okay,
And what I
but
found,
isn't this like pushing a narrative? I mean,
and they allow them to express their gender identity freely. So no, it's not being pushed by the parents. It's allowing the child to express their gender.
I just thought it was, I mean, I get it. Okay, what are the statistics when it's like let's say you have 4 kids. What are the statistics on, or what are the chances of all 4 kids, one being transgender?
They are not all trans. And they are not all trans. And even if they were.
Aside from her children.
Wait, hold on. I see them. Okay, just looking on Google Images, I see them like in different pictures wearing both like more feminine and masculine clothing.
Okay, but aside from her children, let's say what we've been seeing right now on TikTok everywhere. You've got, let's say a family has 4 kids. One's transgender, one is gay, one is pan, or whatever the new names are. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful.
I have 2 children. I am married to a man. We are both straight. We have one kid who's bi and one kid who's trans lesbian. I don't know.
I have a question, guest. Do you know, I don't think they're dating anymore, but do you know who Machine Gun Kelly is? Who Megan Fox was dating?
Yes.
Do you know who that is? Like,
yes.
Have you seen how he dresses? Like, I don't understand. Like, he wears quite feminine clothes sometimes. Like, why don't you bat an eye at that? And I mean, it really doesn't make sense
Because
to,
he's not a child. He's not a child. I don't care what he does. What I'm saying is our children are looking at these other children that are on TV, on
what
magazines.
Does being a child have to do with it? Is
Allowing
it
them to
wrong
express
to dress
themselves,
this
no
way?
problem.
Yeah. Do you think that, like, it's not inappropriate? Like,
I'm not
like,
saying it's inappropriate.
Why does it matter that he's an adult dressing this way and nobody bats an eye at that?
Because he's an adult.
Wrong with the children?
Because children are influenced by what they see.
So I got a question for you. I got a question for you. Why does it bother you about what other people are doing with their children?
Because constantly, as when I'm on TikTok, or if my children are on TikTok, for example, this is all that comes up.
That's your algorithm.
Yeah, and I'm still not seeing the connection as to, like, letting, like, it's been made clear that she lets her children wear what they want to wear. That's the point of the story, is that she lets them express their gender however they want to, and she doesn't put restrictions. That's the point.
Okay, but
Also,
what are the chances?
Even
what
if
I'm
this
saying
was...
is, what are the chances that, okay, she's got 3 boys and all 3 of them either want to dress like girls or want to be a girl?
What does dress like a girl mean? Why does that matter?
Statistically, there are a shit ton of families that are going to have this dynamic, because among Gen Z, I believe around 15% of them identify as LGBTQ. Most of that is bisexual, because I think most people are realizing that the rigid sexuality that we've been brought up with doesn't make much sense. Most people are a lot more open now. But still, among that, you're going to, of course, there are going to be millions of families that are going to have, like, multiple LGBTQ kids.
Okay, now, the past how many years? But how come it wasn't like this, let's say, 10 or 20 years ago? Everyone was just living their lives. Things were just, it wasn't so...
People were stuck in the
LGBTQ was just being oppressed.
They were unable to be themselves.
Also, there wasn't social media then.
Yeah.
You weren't able to identify every single unique presentation by an individual that was signal boosted by crazy conservatives on Twitter. All right, that didn't exist. This whole thing is new. If you actually go outside and talk to real people, you know that that's not going to be the case.
I get it.
Also, do you have the same? Even if this was the case with that Megan Fox was like, "Hey kids, you have to wear this feminine clothing." What do you think is more common? Parents forcing their kids to wear gender unique clothing or gender congruent clothing?
What I'm saying is, I am totally with you on letting your children be what they want to be, how they want to be. What I'm saying is, this whole thing, I'm not against any of it. What I'm saying is, it's so out there. Like, it's in the schools now. What I'm saying is, a lot of children now want to do it or want to do these things because it's the narrative, or it's cool.
No.
So here's the problem. So here's the problem, okay? And I'm going to point this out to you. What you're objecting to is the visibility of LGBT people in society. That's the problem.
No, I'm not objecting to anything. I'm not objecting to anything.
Because I don't believe that there's such thing as being able to push or force people to sit here and be trans, be gay, be bi, be lesbian. There's no such thing.
No, not force them, but what I'm saying is, children are impressionable.
No.
And it's much more likely for parents to make their children conform to gender norms You're a boy, you have to wear these things. You're a boy, you have to play with these things. That is more likely. So we are saying, let's stop doing that and allow children to be themselves.
Also, you mentioned a word that I hear a lot, and I think it's the most incoherent stance from the conservative side around this. You said, well, being trans is cool now, or being gay is cool now, or whatever. How do you stop something being cool and punk?
You don't. You can't, because it's the
No,
narrative.
I'm asking. No, you absolutely can. How do you stop something being cool and punk?
You can't without showing negativity
Yes, you
towards
can.
that.
No. Well, you can. If we can go back 70 years where parents would like brutally beat their kids if they were this way. So I guess that's one way you could stop it. If you're sanctioning that, then you're a piece of shit. Or there's another way you could stop it, which is normalize it.
Yeah.
Just normalize it. That's this every single what creates the punk movements is something being seen as fringe or marginal or abnormal or incorrect. So from your own stance, if you want to stop it from being punk, normalize it. You are inherently self-defeating, even from your own perspective. This is why the conservative position on this is so insanely absurd. Not only is it bigoted, but it just makes no sense logically.
I'm not with when it comes to these things, I'm not with the conservative side when it comes to this. Like I said, I have respect, and I believe that everyone.
Conservative stance on it.
Yeah,
No, I don't. That's how do you call that a conservative stance? When what I'm saying is, children.
Stick
Let's
around
say
this live.
you are using
Kato.
their talking points. You are using it's being pushed on them. You're using, oh, how can all these kids be? Maybe you're not quite understanding, but in environments where children are allowed to express their gender, you are going to see more things out of the norm, out of what people expect.
I don't consider it as out of the norm. Like one of the comments here said that we've been around for forever. I know that. Everyone knows that.
You are saying it's out of the norm though, because you're like, how can 4 boys all want to dress like girls? That's what you said, right?
Okay, I'm not saying that it's out of the norm. What I'm saying is, what are the chances of that happening? And we're talking about it's Megan Fox, and what I'm saying is it's Megan Fox and this whole thing where they're trying to push a narrative.
See, pushing.
How old are your children?
Very right.
Can I ask that question? How old are your children?
12 and 9.
Okay, so are they cisgender?
I don't know. They're normal. I mean, normal. I mean, I don't know. They're just. We don't talk about that.
Does their gender identity align with their assigned sex at birth? So if they're born female.
Yes.
Okay. So you ain't got to
about it. It's not.
You're worrying about this for
it's
other
in the
children.
schools now.
It's
but it's
not. Okay, see, I see you keep trying to say that you're like not on this right-wing side, but you are. You're using their talking points. It's not in the schools now. It's not. It should be. We should be normalizing, like critically said. But it's actually the opposite that's happening. I am in Texas. My daughter wrote bisexual on her pencil case, and I got contacted from the school that she's no longer allowed to bring that to school. It is not.
For that, I feel that's not okay for the school to do that. That's not okay. Children can't.
More common. That is more common.
But this is Texas you're talking about. I'm in Connecticut.
What's actually happening in schools, though? What do you think is actually happening?
I'm in Connecticut. Well, all this stuff going on about how the children now are being told you don't need to tell your parents, or it's you don't keep this from your parents.
Yeah, because
what are you talking about?
Parents are dangerous. Guess what? They shouldn't tell them. So social workers at schools or therapists are going to tell a child, do you feel safe at home? Are your parents going to support you? And if the child says no, then yes, they're going to say, probably don't tell your parents.
I didn't think of the whole safety issue. I didn't think of that. You're right. Some people, but
LGBTQ kids are not supported at home, and it's dangerous for them to come out.
I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that. So that does have a big thing to do with it. You're right.
Yeah. What is the what's the number two largest homeless population?
Homeless?
Yep.
No idea.
Queer teens and young adults.
That's very sad.
Yep. Yeah, they're obviously the largest demographic is middle-aged veteran men, just because they get left behind.
The only reason I'm not homeless is because I was already in college. It wasn't safe for me at home. I pretty much ran away because a number of reasons actually, but it wasn't safe at home. So I had to leave because it was borderline. It wasn't borderline. It was abusive. Not physically, but mentally, emotionally. It's a safety reason. These kids aren't just not telling their parents because it's cool or whatever. They're not telling their parents for safety reasons, especially in states like Texas, Florida, stuff like this, with conservative or religious parents. It might not be safe for the kid to tell their parents. And if they tell their parents, they could be abused, they could be assaulted, they could be unalive, they could be kicked out. It's not safe for everyone at home. Some parents are accepting, like Mel, super accepting. Mel loves her daughter, and Mel cares about her daughter so much. I would do anything to have a mom like that. But the truth is that not everyone has that, and we can't expect everyone to have that. We can't expect everyone to even know if their parents are safe to come out to. I figured they probably weren't safe to come out to, my parents, but I also had no for sure way to know. Some people just don't talk about it. Maybe they seem like they're accepting or they're fine, but then you come out to them and they get pissed or they kick you out or they abuse you because you're not what they wanted you to be. You're not cisgender. You're not heterosexual. Happens all the time.
I understand that. And I'm sorry that you've gone through that. No child should go through that. Their parents should always be supporting. What I'm saying, you guys are like Mel, she's in Texas, and I kind of understand why it's harder down there. I'm in Connecticut. Right now in the schools, with what we're hearing, because of course you never know what's true anymore. With what we're hearing, teachers are helping these children behind their parents' back to actually get to stop, let's say, hormone. Well, maybe not get the medication for it, but
No.
I
Mel,
can't hear Mel.
You're on mute. Mel, you're on mute.
All right. Sorry. You have to have parental consent. You have to go through insurance. These things are not happening in schools. Medically. You have to have a support letter from a therapist. These are just right-wing talking points. This is not happening. Go ahead, Abby.
One case that was brought up twice last week in the same live. There was a case in Maine where I don't know if it's still ongoing. I think it might be still ongoing. The parents sued the school because they found out that their child had a chest binder.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah. So that case, because I read on it a little bit after people brought it up. The case was that the child in school, after talking to a school social worker or a school counselor, whatever it was, they were using a different name in class, different pronouns, and they had a chest binder. Different names, people use nicknames all the time. Nothing wrong with that. Different pronouns, that's not going to hurt anybody. And with the chest binder, while it can lead to harm if used improperly, I'm assuming they were only using it in school because if they went home with it, they'd be in trouble. The mom found out that they had it in a locker and that this information was being hidden, and she sued the school and pulled her child out of school. Now, so think about it, right? If this child had come to their mom and said, hey, I think that trans is who I am. I'm trans. I am a boy. Right? Based on the mom's reaction to finding out that he had the binder, I don't think the mom would have been accepting, and she might have even pulled the kid out of school anyways. Or done something with the school, yelled at teachers, whatever. Because, it seems very clear based on her reaction to the binder going instantly to sue the school and the counselor that she's not accepting of trans people, and it wouldn't have been a safe environment. So like name changes, pronoun changes in schools, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just experimental. You can change those at any time.
But maybe she would have been. But maybe she would have been if she had known. The thing is, the problem is not knowing and someone else doing it behind the parent's back. That's the issue.
The problem. Yeah, but that's also the problem too. Is that we don't know here, Jane, really quick. We don't know that the parents are safe. So while we want to assume, we want to hope, we want to understand these parents are safe when they come out. That when we come out, they're going to be safe. They're going to be safe people. They're going to support us no matter what. They're going to love us no matter what. They love us unconditionally like parents should. But we don't. And that's the problem. I think Jane wanted to say something. But that's the big issue here, is that we want to hope, and we want to hope, and we want to know and understand that the parents are going to be there for us no matter what. But the fact is that we don't. And we base it off of their reactions to other things. News stories revolving it, and or LGBTQ people, religious views, how they vote, things like that. We pay attention to these things to know whether it might be safe or not. And if it's not safe, we find someone else who it is safe to, whether it be another family member or a friend or a teacher or a school counselor. Because we want to be accepted for who we are. We want to be validated. We want to be ourselves. And if we're not getting that support at home, then we have to find it somewhere else, because we're trying to be ourselves, and our parents, the ones that are supposed to love us unconditionally no matter what, are the ones holding us back from that. I think Jane wanted to say something.
Maybe, and just maybe, aware of that information, because those parents were not a safe place for that child to talk about these things. And the thing here is, and I'm speaking from experience, that, I didn't have the language, but if I felt safe enough in the environment that I was growing up in, I probably would have said something. Probably, just looking back at everything now. Knowing what I know now, I probably would have said something. But the thing here is that at the end of the day, I want to address these things here. When people say that it's being pushed, what they're really talking about is visibility of trans people and the education that is being brought about them, which is that some people are trans, some people are cis. Same thing goes with the other letters of the LGBT community. Some people are gay, some people are not. That is perfectly fine and okay. It could, and I'm just going to put this out there, that it could also be the fact that now, because there's more acceptance, people feel more free to be to thine own self be true. And the thing that I would just tell you is that if you feel like I could sit here and convince you and influence you, why aren't you anything other than straight if you are straight? Because there were gay people, there were bi people, there were trans people in society before 2016.
Absolutely, I know that. But now it's like there's so many. Something new that I heard was furries, and there's so I don't understand.
Furries isn't related.
Yeah, it's not related.
This is what happens when you're, no offense to you, this is what happens when you're online too much. I don't mean to assume, but like right now, the Republican Party has no meaningful policy platform for the American people. They don't. They have to rely on these superficial cultural issues. So right now, they're doing all they can to take over spaces like Twitter, to build their own media apparatus like the Daily Wire, and to prioritize these types of culture war issues. That is their whole MO, and they spend all their money bringing that to your attention as much as possible.
But that's
You're
not.
buying
I'm not
into
getting
media
that.
programming.
I'm not getting that from online. I'm literally getting that from what children are talking about.
What children?
I thought the story you brought up, Abby also mentioned that.
Which, well, that one, yes, that one I found, that was online. It was on the news. But
Yes.
the new names, I'm sorry, I don't want to offend anyone. Furry, I heard, I think it was furry.
That's not related to trans people, though. That's just a thing that people do. It's just a thing they enjoy. It's a hobby.
Yeah, it's not even related
It's
to
just
the
like LARPing. It's like D&D.
I'm sorry, I thought it was a sexual. Never.
No, being a furry is not a sexual orientation.
I was gonna say sexual orientation. I heard it was.
Yeah. Also, to go back to the main thing, we were talking about how like we don't know that the mother would have been accepting or whatever. I would argue that the fact that she went so far after finding out that her child was hiding a binder and using a different name and pronouns in class would show that she's not accepting. My parents, when they found out that I was talking to friends about my gender identity, they took my phone from me. There was a mail that used to, past couple of days, I've been running part of this background that said, kids are not your property. That's treating your kids like their property. If they're hiding something from you that they trust with their friends or the counselor or whatever, and you're so offended that they can have their own lives and know they have their own secrets and mindset and intentions, that you didn't hear about it, and you need to know everything from your child. You need to know every single thing about them. Some of the comments, they think they view their kids as property. They own them. You don't own your child. Yeah, you're responsible for taking care of the child. You're responsible for making sure they grow up, get to school, all these other things. But you don't own the child. You're just responsible for, again, taking care of them and letting them live their life. Yeah, you can help them correct mistakes they make along the way. That's part of being a parent. But the fact that someone keeping one secret because they're not sure if they're safe or not from a parent resulted in her going to a lawsuit against the school and the counselor for holding that secret for her is wild. And it's very safe to assume that the child knew, or at least heavily leaned towards the fact that the parent would not have been a safe person to come out to.
Mm-hmm. And it's obvious they're not.
Yes, which is, didn't they mention something? Since you guys are bringing up politics, didn't they mention that the mom was actually a Democrat?
I don't think so, but the lead counsel on the lawsuit is the Goldwater Institute, an Arizona-based conservative and libertarian think tank.
I thought I heard that they said that the mother was a Democrat.
Yeah, just because you're Democrat doesn't mean you're not transphobic.
Not all Democrats.
Surprise! Democrats are not perfect. Like, crazy! Wow.
There are transphobic Democrats, just like there are accepting Republicans. But the party thing is that if you're voting red, regardless of you're accepting of your child or any other trans person, you're voting red. You're voting for the party that's actively working to take our rights away. Whereas Democrats, some of them are transphobic, some of them are still bigots, but they're not voting for the party that's actively taking bathroom rights, healthcare rights, and privacy rights away from children and trans people in the country.
We don't see that much in Connecticut. In Connecticut, that's it's more accepted. There's all gender bathrooms. Connecticut. So we're not Texas. I understand Texas or other places like Texas. I understand that, but for here, we don't. I haven't seen that issue here that much. No matter what the president is, or what party.
But you have to understand, right? The people in power are the people that are really important in this scenario, right? Obviously, Gen Z is coming up. They're becoming more voting age. They're predominantly more blue, right? But the fact is that the two leading Republican candidates for president, Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis has proven he's anti-LGBTQ, he's racist, he's anti-black people, he's anti-immigrant, he's anti-all these things based on what he's done in Florida. We have evidence that he's like that. Donald Trump made a video back in January or December saying that he would authorize the banning of gender-affirming care for all trans people, children, and adults. Some states like Oklahoma are working to pass bills that would ban gender-affirming care for people up to 26. Texas and Florida, we all know how bad Texas and Florida are. Florida's gender affirming care ban for kids is finally being reversed, but like Texas is still bad. Tennessee's drag bill targeted trans people as well. Thankfully, that's being reversed too. We still Texas had 50 something anti-LGBTQ bills or laws passed. That's insane because the Republicans have no worthwhile policy. The red side has no worthwhile policy that they have to go after anyone they can that's a minority. LGBTQ people, immigrants, black people, other people of color, indigenous people, the homeless, any other minority they can get their hands on, and convince the public that they're bad, they're evil, they're demonic, they're targeting the kids. If we're targeting the kids, if the whole thing is to protect the kids, why are why are healthcare bills being passed or trying to be passed in places like Texas, Oklahoma, that would prohibit gender affirming care up to the age of 26? 18 to 26 isn't a child. Gender affirming care bans for adults aren't children. This isn't about protecting the kids. That's what they're pushing really hard. You're good.
But I understand
really
that they are.
Kids.
It's kind of like It's kind of like DeSantis with Florida. He's really lost it.
Okay, John. So,
and for them to ban it up to 26, that's outrageous. I understand that.
I want to point this out to you. There are a few anti-trans laws that have been introduced to in Connecticut. If you need me to give you examples of those, I will give them to you. But there are anti-trans laws that are currently going on in Connecticut that are on the floor up for discussion.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I'm sure that they won't be put through. There's no way.
Even if they aren't, even if they aren't put through, it's the point is to put our finger on this zeitgeist that conservatives and the right are around right now. That when you as an individual, when you feel concern or fear or worry about trans people or the possibility of transness, whatever the fuck that is, infecting the population or whatever, you're just buying into conservative propaganda. You're being used as a tool. You're being used for your money and your time and your attention. That's it. Because if you look at data, none of the data bears out any of these concerns. It's actually the exact opposite.
So I'm on the ACLU's anti-trans map. They keep track of all the anti-LGBTQ legislation, bills, and laws being passed and their status and stuff. So in Connecticut, while nothing's been officially passed, the Senate has SB 468 and the House has HB 6213. Both are advancing and were referred to committee. There's nothing beyond that for status-wise. HB 6213, an act prohibiting student athletes who are born as males from participating in women's interscholastic athletic events to eliminate unfair competition in women's interscholastic sporting competition. And SB 468, an act concerning civil immunity for interscholastic athletic organizations and the sanctioning bodies of private youth organizations, to provide civil immunity for interscholastic athletic organizations and the sanctioning bodies of private youth organizations when such entities adopt policies that would require an athletic participant to compete on a team that matches the gender identity on the person's birth certificate. So while they're not targeting classrooms, they're not targeting bathrooms, they're targeting kids in sports. These kids are most of these kids they're talking about. I can't imagine there's a large trans athlete population in Connecticut, or any state for that matter, but they're going after kids who just want to play sports.
Okay,
and the people up
HB 6331, an act. Let me pull it up here real quick.
Okay, they legalized where I think it was men can play in women's sports, but they won't legalize where women. I mean, how do I say biological men?
So it's the other way around. They don't let males in women's sports, but they don't let females in men's sports. Yeah,
yes.
Because the right, especially, they like to push this issue that trans women are the problem. They never, ever, ever. I would challenge you to find something where they talk about trans men,
Yeah, but how would
everything
that
they go
make the
after.
women? How would that make trans women the problem? I feel like if
They're
they're gonna
not the
do it for
problem.
one
The
side,
right is
if they're gonna legalize it on one side, they need to legalize it at the other side,
Because they don't care
or
about
don't
trans men.
legalize it at all.
They
they
don't
don't care
care
about
about
trans
trans
men.
men.
Trans men aren't the issue because the reason is because of this society, the aspect of society where men are seen as predatory, as like harmful. And while that is like statistically true, that men are more likely to do any harm, any abuse, any SA, they're pushing it on trans women because they see trans women as men. They don't view trans women as women like they are. They view trans men as men. And so they say that anyone, regardless of passability, surgery status, medication status, name, whatever, any trans woman is a problem because they view them as a man. And that's not true. They are women. But they don't do the same thing for trans men because
Been stared at in a bathroom, been questioned in a bathroom as to why I was in a woman's bathroom for many, many, many years. Since I was 15, I have actually, it's happened on multiple occasions. Right. So that is not something we push on our children. Trust me. No one is pushing this on our children. We are pushing acceptance of others onto our children. Like, it's not about, it's not about, oh, I want you to be this. Like, my son has an older sister by 3 years. He wears, I don't know if you heard, but he said he's a boy. But he likes to paint his fingernails. His sister likes to paint her fingernails. Who cares? He likes to wear dress-up dresses because that's how he plays with his sister. Like, do we care? No. Express yourself if that's what you want. And then I think the one guest who was talking about Megan Fox's kids, who is it hurting for that child to wear a dress? If they want to wear a dress, it hurts no one. It doesn't mean they are trans. It doesn't mean that they want to be a girl. Like, it just means they want to wear a dress. If they're comfortable in a dress, so be it. I know tons of cis hetero men who will wear a dress and have no problems with it. Like, what's, like, why do we have to focus just because they're a celebrity? Like, but it's just like, I applaud Mel and you, Sherry, for both of you. Like, I wish I would have had the support to be who I was sooner in life. I took my mom to therapy to come out to her, just as a lesbian. Like,
Yeah.
because I grew up in a conservative household. Oh my God, thank you, Jackson. And like, just because I thought I was going to get kicked out of the house and have the reaction that Abby's parents had. Luckily, I didn't, but I thought I was. And so I was afraid that something was going to happen and that I needed to be in a safer space to be able to say it. Like, and some of my teachers from school that knew were the ones who encouraged me to come out to my parents. So it's not, these teachers not pushing it. So it blows my mind that these people say these things, like that they were pushing things like it. If anything, people are pushing being a straight on me and have my whole life. Like, my mom wanted me to have long hair. She didn't want me to dress the way I dress. Oh, I know.
Exactly.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, exactly.
But like my dad, my real dad embraced it. Like, he'd buy me boxers. He'd buy me, men's clothes, like those kinds of things. He's like, I don't care. I know plenty of women who did that. Like, their clothes, they don't have a gender. Toys don't have a gender. Like, it doesn't hurt. Like, that's my point to anybody who's listening and any of the bigots. Like, who's it hurting? Why does it hurt you?
I think it's because they want the ability to maintain status and to easily influence people. When people are unique and complex and diverse, they aren't knowable in the same way, at least in a broader, more generalizing way. They can't be influenced. I think this is why, like, trans women get especially targeted, because if what a woman is not as basic and simple and oriented around reproduction, that attacks man's ability to be able to see women as an object to pursue, as a status to gain. It makes that process more complex, more personable, and less kind of just, I don't know, basic, status oriented, very, I don't know, animalistic almost. So I think that's kind of the main reason why trans women have been in the conversation more so than trans men.
Oh, I mean, I agree. And
The patriarchy.
Right. Growing up in the LGBT community, I saw how some trans women were treated, which blew my mind because I'm like, they're part of our community. Like, how can you think that? about someone within our own community, but critically, I 100% agree. Like, my parents wanted to keep the white picket fence image of like, this is our family. We are perfect. We have this image. Like, we live this life. We like, yeah. So that's what I wanted to come say. I really want to talk to, I don't remember which guest about something, but she had kids, and I'm like, I have 2 kids. Like, I have a wife. Like, I'm not gonna push this on my children. Like, it blows my mind. Like, why do you think we would push it on our kids? Like, knowing how hard of a life it can be when it shouldn't be, but it can be. Like, it's not happening. Like, you're listening to the media way too much, and the ultra right conservatives way too much to think that it's being pushed on a child. Like, nobody can.
Yeah, it's quite
like
it's quite the opposite with us, right? So it's
right.
the conservative side. The conservative side is the one who is really pushing the heteronormative, and like so many people that I've talked to, like coming out as gay or whatever, is like, oh gosh, well, we can get you help. We can do this, because there's such a push to veering away from that. Whereas anybody, queer in the community, when we have kids, our view is completely the opposite. It is there is no pushing whatsoever. There is no pressure on anything. The whole idea is to have the kid to have complete freedom to find who they are and express who they are, so they're not going through this turmoil up until their adulthood, where they can finally say, okay, this is my identity. Like, give them a chance to be themselves at a younger age and not have to go through this internal turmoil for years and years. Like, why? So our theory is complete opposite. It's don't push them at all. Let them be free to be themselves.
And I think someone pointed out in the comments, like, let them be a kid and find out what they want. That's exactly what we're trying to say. Like, I think they didn't realize that's what it meant. And I was like, that's what we mean. And she was like, oh. I was like, yes, that is what we mean. Let them be a child and discover themselves and do what they want. I think it was you, Mel, who said, oh, what did you say? That I was like, yes. I can't. It lost me. It's neurospicy. It's lost me. But
she says so much good shit. We don't know.
right. But like, no, like I don't know. But it's just.
I don't know what I said.
But anyways, that's all I wanted to come say. Thank you. Non-binary is considered part of the trans umbrella, but we won't get into that. That's not what this live is about. Sorry, I was reading a comment and was like, no. That's not it.
We are pro NBs here, so.
Yeah.
Like, because trans means you don't identify with the gender and sex you were born with. So, and non-binary means that you don't identify with that. So therefore, you are part of the trans community. Like, so. Anyways,
I think there's. Yeah, there it is. The non-binary flag. I thought it was in there.
Yeah. So, but I will hop back down.
Okay, thank you.
Guys.
Bye, MJ.
Bye.
See you, MJ.
So Mel, how much does the DNC push and pay you to push this?
I've seen her pay stubs. They're pretty wild, actually. A little bit of morning indoctrination.
On a good
George
day,
Soros directly,
a little. She can buy a Little Caesar pizza on a really good day. So that's so fucking laughable. I think you're profiting, Mel. Like, Jesus, if you get to go buy a Coke for the day, like, you've made it.
Some of these
so
lives,
funny.
I get like 50 cents or 3 cents. I had one that was 0. Like, yeah, look at all the money I'm making. Oh,
jeez.
Really funny. I don't know if you guys have ever had a kind frozen bar.
Hello, my friend.
What?
How are you, my friend?
What the hell are you saying? Bye.
They're just saying, how are you?
Oh.
It was loud that you couldn't.
It was too much. Too intense. Anyway, kind frozen bars. Really good.
Always with the healthy stuff, Mel. I aspire to be you one day when I grow up.
I'm not always like this.
Instead of eating Twinkies.
I have a sugar addiction, so.
I do too. That's my problem.
Yeah, the frozen ones are like really good. People are talking about it. This one's mint. This one is mint chocolate almond nut.
So it's in the freezer. You didn't just freeze a regular kind bar.
Nope, they're frozen. You buy them frozen.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out then. If you're saying it's not good.
They have them at Target.
Okay.
All right, is that it? Am I out of opposition?
Anybody who wants to disagree?
Well, I guess it was like 4 hours of straight opposition. I shouldn't be.
Got up to like 3,000 people in here.
I know, it was a little crazy there for a little bit.
That was super racist. You guys kicked somebody out for their accent. You know, I just had to say that.
Okay, cool.
See, the point is people will come in with a lot of background noise and just start yelling like slurs and things like that. And they get cut off immediately. You don't know what they're saying. And it was one of those cases where she thought maybe they were saying something problematic. So it happens.
And they didn't.
Let's not be an ass. Yeah. Or people have, you know, they connect and they're just not around, and there's weird background noise, and they get cut off. You just don't know.
Some people are watching with headphones on, and when people come in like that loud, and they can like hurt people's ears. So.
Okay.
Your bio says you're 14.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that person connected. Whoops. Did they or not? That was weird. Hello? Hello? Okay. Rachel, do you agree you have rainbows in your bio?
Unless she's one of those that, that freak me out. Like they're part of the community but hate other parts of the community. That shit. That gets me. Ugh.
Hello?
Rachel.
Yeah.
What's up?
What's up?
You have a lot of birds.
Yeah. I've been watching your live for a while now, and I actually really like it.
Thank you.
Got a different point of views.
Okay.
Especially from Big Slim.
I don't know. Are the birds too loud for you guys? You have a lot of background noise because of all the birds.
Okay. Some people like it. Some people, that's the thing. Like some people have ear sensitivity. Kind of.
Okay. Did you have something specific you wanted to say? Because I am looking for opposition. Rachel?
Oh.
Hey, Mel, I got hopped down, but I appreciate the time up.
Thank you.
Bye, all. Have a good one.
Bye. All right, I don't know. Maybe they can't hear over the birds either. Is this person a child? Hello?
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 Simon.
You muted yourself, Simon. Okay. That's just like
What's going on?
Oh man.
They must have butt dialed in.
Maybe I should take a break.
I know you started early. I barely woke up and saw that your live was like going crazy. You had tons of people in there, and I was like, ugh, sleep, damn it.
If you can get
I
on
missed the beginning.
if I can get on early enough before like other people are on, then I can get a lot of views. Yeah, I think it was before 8. It was early. Thank you, Adora.
So it was before 7 for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And I showered before that.
Dang.
I know. And it's summer. Like, what?
I know, huh? You do that sometimes, though. You'll just randomly wake up early.
Yesterday I woke up at 5, but then we didn't have I didn't have internet for hours. It's like torture.
It made the day drag so much. And I
it
think
was
like
awful.
all of us were so bored. Like, oh.
I'm like, I don't have internet. I have to go get groceries. Like, who wants to do that? This looks suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
Hello? Hello?
Hello? It froze up for a second.
Okay, what's up?
Can we call you?
So do you honestly believe that people are pushing children to be hetero?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a little loud.
You don't have the greatest kids.
But do hetero people have a whole month dedicated to their sexuality?
Basically, they can.
And who are the people that are complaining about children right now?
Whoa,
Who is the one who's like pushing about
Wow. Just sit there and yell and just be like, oh, on the mic like this, just on the mic.
I'm not even yelling. I'll show you yelling, you fucking faggot.
You fucking out of your mouth.
Fudge
Here and
fucking
just like
faggot.
all in the mic like this.
Okay.
You're like, oh my god. So do you want to have a conversation?
Nah, that's how you guys say this.
Jesus Christ. As a hetero person, I've been able to celebrate my sexuality my entire life. No one cares because we're not targeted. We don't even have to come out. We can just be. So, what?
Yeah, I bet when you were dating your husband, you never got the like, oh, well, I'm sorry, sweetie. Maybe one day you'll come to your senses and you'll date like the right kind of person, or like I'm sorry, Mel, but I just don't believe in that. That's just not in my religion. Or when you got married, someone saying, I just can't support that and come to that. Like, I'm sure you never had to deal with that. So, yeah.
I'm still waiting for Goose to start his gay church.
Yeah, I didn't have to deal with any of that shit.
I mean, Bish. Not Goose. I mean, Bish.
Oh, Bish, yeah. With his headdress and all that. His
I haven't seen Bish.
Hope outfit.
Didn't have internet yesterday, though. Hello?
Hello, hi, how are you?
Good, what's up?
Great.
Just came to chime in on the topic this morning.
Okay, go ahead.
First, I'd like to say hello. This is my first live I've been accepted to.
Cool.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay.
So is it Willie?
My name's Will.
Okay, Will.
Pleasure to meet you. Well, Big Will. But you can call me Will. I'm from Philadelphia. I really think that the whole agenda pushing thing and all the dog whistles are just way too far at this point. Where it's
Which dog?
Yeah, what do you mean? What agenda?
Well, I was reading pushing kids to be straight.
Okay, well, that's how it's always been.
Yeah, I know. And it's weird that people are using trans or gay or non-binary or anyone who doesn't fit into a quote unquote mold.
Okay, so you
I mean,
agree?
I'm sorry.
So you agree with the topic? Like you agree with us?
Oh, totally.
Ah, okay. Because I am looking for opposition.
Oh, okay. I mean,
But thanks for the support, Will.
well, no, I've lived with the opposition, is my point, where I grew up with that agenda as a gay man with people always telling me, you know, I also grew up in an interfaith marriage where one of my parents was Jewish and another one was Catholic. And I also have born again Christian evangelical on my father's side. So I constantly grew up with like two sides in one ear, if you know what I'm saying.
Right, of like just find a nice girl and be happy kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
right. Because that's what we're all pushed. We're all given that like, yeah. Once you find a nice girl, Will, and settle down, you'll be happy. So
this expectation to be straight and to be cis.
Exactly. Oh, hold on. How do I turn my video on?
You turn on your camera and then have to save. But I am going to drop you though because I am looking for opposition.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
Can I share one story of opposition on the live?
Against you? Well, no, I'm looking for someone that we can have conversations with that is against, that don't believe that being straight is pushed. Okay, bye. I didn't do that. I don't know who did. Wasn't me. I had a request and they left. If you want to re-request the person that was just in the box. Oh, okay. Because I gotta pee real quick. One more person.
Yay,
no one's
me and
pushing being
Shannon.
gay.
I'll give you someone.
Nathan, that's not happening. Does Nathan have enough followers?
I don't know.
Where'd he go?
I don't know. I might need to let you two just talk to each other if nobody comes up.
That's fine.
Oh,
No,
here's
he
Nathan.
doesn't.
Wait, is this a different Nathan? Or a different country?
Is it Nathan Adam?
Yo, can you hear me?
No. Okay.
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 18. I just
What year
turned
were you born?
18. 2005, April 4th.
Okay. All right, you guys talk to this person.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
So what's up, Nathan?
I live in Zimbabwe, and it is actually illegal to be gay here. Like, you can actually go to jail for being gay. And a lot of us are brought up to believe that maybe I'm not against it. I have gay friends, and a lot of gay people in my life, but I don't exactly trying to find the right word for it. I don't even know what the right word would be. But it's a very, very like, weird subject. Yeah. And I know it's different that side of the world with the movement of push your kids to be who they are. But it was also becoming a bit in a way where it's kind of pushed onto them.
Over here, you mean?
It's surrounded by people who are saying it's okay to be gay. It's okay. You can do this. It's okay. You're gay. It's fine. It's fine. And it makes them start wondering, am I gay? Like,
Well,
it's
no,
like
that
implemented
doesn't
into their
make
mind
them
to start
start
questioning it.
No, that can't make somebody start wondering. That's like, Nathan, if I told you, like, it's okay to be gay, Nathan, like, I don't care how you were raised, it's okay. And then are you going to then start to question, well, oh my gosh, maybe I am. No, you're not. You either are gay or you're not. Now, there's a difference, maybe where you live and it's not accepted and it's not okay, where somebody who is gay and then they get put into an environment where they're allowed to be, that might come out instead of living in the closet and living a lie, but
Oh,
that's not
100%,
making them
100%.
gay. Yeah,
Of course, people are born like that, and that's fine.
right.
But also, I do see a lot of people where it does get pushed onto them, where when there's constantly social media and people saying it's okay and saying like things that like pushing it into their head that maybe I am gay, and they're a kid.
Nathan,
They don't understand.
Nathan,
They
Nathan,
they don't
what you're
really
gonna have to
understand.
do in order to prove that, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to draw the line between people accepting other people for who they are, whether they're gay, they're lesbian, they're trans, or they're bi, and the fact that you know these people exist.
I'm not against it, like I said, but
I'm
so
asking you to prove how it's being pushed.
okay. I'm gonna bring up like okay, let's make a reasonable argument. Now, okay, I'm only gonna say it if you're not gonna interrupt me, because I don't want it to make it sound like I'm such a horrible person. Okay. Um, in a let's say a child's life, when they are brought into a place where there's a lot of crime around them, is it not more likely that they're going to become a criminal? If they're put in a place where violence is all around them and
That is
things are not as
so
easy,
different.
it's more likely that they're going to become a criminal, is it not?
That is so different.
No, it's not.
Being in a situation where you might have to do something to survive because of your situation, that's based on like an action that somebody takes. Okay. When it comes to sexuality, it's not about an action that somebody takes, it's about who they are. These are
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
right. These are
No. But
intrinsic
also,
things that are.
listen to my theory. Listen to
No,
my
no, no.
theory.
Wait. Really quick though. But Nathan, your theory is supporting what we already discussed. If you are in an environment where it is not okay to be gay and you are gay, you will suppress that. It will be suppressed. When you are then put into an environment where it is okay, it then might come out. It did not cause the person to be gay. It will cause the action of them being able to express it. That's different.
Like I said, I'm not against it. I'm not here to say that it's wrong.
So what's your point?
I'm saying that it gets pushed into people's head. What I'm saying is that when
Sherry,
people
I push it
explained
into
it
your
to
head to
her.
be gay. Can I push into your head to be gay, Nathan?
you can push anything into my head.
You think if I tell you all day long that you're gay, you think you're going to start dating a guy and have a boyfriend and all of this? If I tell you that? Are you going to
If
start being
someone keeps on saying that you're ugly, aren't you eventually going to believe it?
It's about your level of attraction. All right, can I make you be attracted to, are you attracted to men at all?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so if I tell you all day long that men are attractive, don't you find them attractive? Do you think that's going to work? That you're just going to start to become attracted to men?
As a lighty, you don't know what you want.
You don't see. You can't answer the question because you can't do that.
Nathan, this isn't Pavlov's dog. Like, you're not. Nobody's going around giving people treats every time they do something gay. No. Like, this isn't how this thing works.
Sherry's like, damn it, I want some.
What?
This isn't how this thing.
That was good. That was good.
This isn't how this thing works. This isn't how this thing works. Okay, like, this is just a. This is a part of that development of who you are, right? This is when you come to recognize, hey, I've got a crush on this guy. I don't know why, but it seems like I really like this guy, or I've come to realize that who I am is this. You know, this has nothing to do with outside influence. This more so has to do with that intrinsic part of you, that internal sense of self, right?
So would you
And
say
and
that
and sitting,
nothing about this has been caused by influence?
Correct.
You're saying that?
yeah,
You're saying that
again,
or
you're not
everything
doing
that's been
Pavlov's
happening.
dog every time you do something gay. Like I'm not giving you a treat every time you sit here and show something that makes me think you're gay, Nathan. Like it's just people are visible, and because people are visible does not mean that, you know, they're going to end up being gay. I mean, Mel has been here with on this live with a bunch of trans people and a bunch of gay people, and she's neither of those. So
Yeah.
so like, you know, this idea that somehow you can be convinced or pushed or influenced to be something you're not is like how could you even do that? Seriously, I really
No,
want to
no,
know
no,
how
no.
someone can
That
be pushed
can
into something.
happen. I'm sorry, but influence can change who
When
you
it comes to sexuality and gender,
No.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
Not in that aspect.
Because there's things you don't choose, right? Like, say there's like a food that you really like. You didn't choose to like it, you just do.
Okay.
Right.
Look,
Or your
I'm not
favorite
here.
color.
I'm not here to attack anyone. Hey, I'm just letting you know that
Well,
it's
and
how I've been brought up and what I know is around me.
attacking you.
Okay, but there's no scientific proof of that. There is no scientific proof of that you can be influenced to be one sexuality or the other. So you can have a belief based on nothing, which is what you're doing, but there's no proof of that.
But influence can make someone something that they're not.
No.
Okay, there is more evidence showing that people are born gay or predisposition for gender, things like that. There's more evidence to suggest that than your theory. And until you can bring me some scientific evidence that shows that letting kids know that gay people exist and that it's okay to be gay will turn them gay, until you can show me that, you have no argument.
We've already been shown that like conversion therapy doesn't work.
Right.
It's not that I'm bringing anything scientific into it. This is just my opinion.
Well, if your opinion is wrong.
And
there's nothing to support it. There's nothing to support it. That's like saying my opinion is like, water is dry. That's my opinion. There's nothing to support that.
yeah, and I'm not coming here and saying that it's wrong. I never did say it was wrong.
But you cannot, we're telling you.
I know, and I'm showing you my view from somewhere in the world where it is looked down
And are
upon.
you not capable of changing your view?
Maybe because,
Sorry?
Nathan, you feel like you're a product of your environment because being gay is looked down upon so harshly where you're at. Maybe that's where you're getting this is that it's easily suggestible because that's the environment that you've been raised in. So you're thinking, okay, well, if you're raised where it's accepted, then everybody's just going to turn gay. I mean, I just feel like you have a really strong bias in that way because there's just nothing to back up what you're saying.
But doesn't that mean that influence can affect you?
Hold on. Do you know what Occam's razor is?
No.
So Occam's razor is usually the simplest explanation is the correct one. So I'm going to propose a scenario for you. Do you know what Will and Grace is?
No.
So one of the main characters in Will and Grace as a TV show was gay. So let me just go ahead and ask you this question. Is it more likely that the fact that people watched Will and Grace made them gay, or is it more likely that the reason why people started coming out more as a result of Will and Grace is because they saw representation and they could identify themselves with it?
I mean, you never know. Kids will watch a military show and they will say, "Oh, I want to join the army. I want to be just like him."
Oh, different. That's not.
It's not different. It's influence.
It's not. No, it's
my
not
God,
the same.
Nathan, what is your favorite color?
It's red.
It's red. Can I convince you that your favorite color is blue?
I mean, maybe if you give up a strong argument.
Are you fucking serious?
That's, that's not true. Come on, Nathan. You like what you like. This is the problem. The development of humans and their personality and their identity is so complex and so deep for somebody to just come in and say like, oh well, I think kids are being influenced to be gay because they know gay people exist. That's not how identity works. And if you don't have a basic understanding of development and identity, you're just not gonna get it. I'm sorry.
Right, and if that's how it worked, my kids would be more likely to be straight and cis, and neither one of them are.
They're not.
They're not.
Because they have a person who has a massive influence in their life who is telling them constantly it's okay.
Who?
No, her children have influenced her in this education.
Seriously,
Mel is cis.
No idea.
She is cis and she is straight, and she knew nothing about the community before her child came out. Her child has influenced her education on this topic. It came from her kids, not from her.
Okay, so Nathan,
so
let me ask you
they
this
said to you that they were they were different sexuality before you had even brought anything about sexuality into their life.
Nathan, you said that you had a bunch. You said you had a bunch of friends who were gay. Correct?
No, not a bunch of men. I do have mates that are gay. Yes, I do.
You have friends that are gay. Okay, so
Yes.
why aren't you gay?
Why aren't I gay?
Yeah.
Because I don't find guys attractive. And because, like I said, it is very looked down upon. No one here says it's okay to be gay.
Wait,
they're still gay though.
Yeah, they're still gay because they were born like that. And like I said earlier,
Oh wow, no one influenced them to be that way?
No. But like I said earlier, some people, yes, I do agree, are born like that. But you cannot say that influence cannot change a person.
So if you have friends that are gay,
go ahead. Sorry, Adrian.
if you have friends that are gay, and you're exposed to gayness, why aren't you gay right now?
Because I don't believe in it.
You don't believe in it.
Couldn't you just be influenced?
Yeah. Why aren't you influenced to be gay?
Because I was brought up to say that it's not. I wasn't brought into it. I didn't even know what gay was until I turned about.
Neither did my kids. My daughter was not introduced to being trans before she came out.
But she knew about it at a very young age, did she not?
No, she didn't.
So you're telling me that she came up to you without her knowing at all what a transgender person is, what a gay person is, what a lesbian person is.
She didn't come out until she
and
was
she
13.
said to you, I think I'm a different gender.
She didn't come out until she was 13, but she was feeling an incongruence between her gender and sex around the age 8. She never said anything because she didn't know what it was. She didn't know what she was feeling.
But you can agree that maybe the people around her or the people on social media maybe brought out a bit of question.
She's not on social media.
She's not?
No, and she actually wasn't even going to school at the time because of the pandemic. So really, who taught her this?
So how did she find out what it was?
It was just an internal feeling that she expressed to Mel of saying, I am not a boy.
She didn't even use the word
I am not a boy.
Yeah, she didn't say I'm trans, Mom. She said I'm not a boy. I'm a girl, and like I don't know what to do.
But how do you find in your head that maybe I'm not a right gender? You get born and you have a life. You're conscious, and
you don't
are what you
understand, Nathan, because you're cis. You don't understand because you're not trans. You cannot fathom and imagine something that you have not experienced. What that feeling is. Neither can I. I don't know what it feels like. You don't know what it feels like. Trans people just know what it fucking feels like. Something's not right. Something's not matching up. You're telling them something that they just don't feel. And sometimes they don't have the words for that until they're older.
It's not taught. It's not influence. It's just who you are.
You can't explain to me why your favorite color is red. You cannot give me an intellectual explanation of why red is your favorite color above all other colors. It is just your favorite color.
works the same like when you want to express your gender. Like there's certain clothes that I like. Oh, I like this one. I like the color of it. I want to wear this. Like you don't need to explain everything you do. You like what you like. You are who you are, and no explanation should be required.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Anyways, good luck.
Perfect. Thank you.
Cheers.
I mean, I can't really say anything else other than that. He proved his own point. He proved his own point. Like he was raised in an environment where it's not okay to be gay. He said his friends were born gay. Yes, they just can't help it. And if they were in an environment where maybe they were allowed to be, they would come out. Like we've already established that. We can't. He said you can't, change his preference. So I don't understand what the big deal is. He's just unfortunately
People are
been sheltered.
so quick, and I used to do it too, right? Like we're so quick to being like, well, if we can't imagine ourselves doing these things, then how is it possible?
I know. I tried questioning my son on this again yesterday.
You have to be influenced to do this because how would you know? You're looking at it. You're looking at it from your point of view, and as a cis person, even as a straight person, right? Again, I was able to just be. I didn't have to come out. I didn't have to tell anyone that I was straight. Oh my gosh, I'm attracted to boys. It wasn't a thing because it was accepted. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's privilege. What's wrong with these things?
Just going up to your parents and being like, Mom, Dad, I've got something I really need to tell you. I'm straight.
I know, right?
We're not going to have any straight people in our house.
I mean, do people really think that happens? You have to be gay. No. Thank you. That does not happen that direction. I don't know why people think that that's a thing.
Oh my God, my kid's texting me.
Yay! Oh, I just said it like that. That was creepy. It's hard to tell, but I painted my... Oh, you can see it, sort of.
Yeah, you painted it the trans color.
Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty. It looks so cute. Oh, I like it. God damn it. I swear, this fucking kid scrapes his knee at PE and he's like, can I come home? I'm like, dude, push through it. I'm like, he's not going to get credited if I pick him up. Ugh. Hold on.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi. I really would have liked to engage with the guy that came off just now because he didn't make much sense. My question would have been to him, his friends that he grew up with that are gay, didn't they grow up in the same community that he grew up in?
Yeah, and the thing is, he had this argument, and a lot of other people have it too. Well, some people are just gay, but not all. Some are influenced.
Yeah, but
that's the way
why?
they justify it.
And you asked the question, why wasn't he gay? And he said because of his environment. It was not because of his environment. It was because he is not attracted to men.
Yep. Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the same, I would have answered him the same way that that the same way you're attracted to women. It's the same gay people. Some recognize it earlier than others. Know that they are not attracted to men or women, as the case may be.
Yep.
Right? You can leave two people on an island, a male and a woman, a boy and a girl on an island from baby. At some point, they're going to figure out sex. You understand?
Without being taught. If they're attracted to each other, if not, then...
But my point is,
Yeah, you just figure these things out.
sex is not something that has to be taught. They will figure it out eventually. You understand? They don't have to be taught homosexuality or lesbianism. If that is what you are, you will figure it out eventually. It will manifest itself eventually. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So he didn't seem to want to be too receptive of the possibility that some people are just that, and there's nothing you can do about that.
I think he may have gotten a lot closer at the end anyway. I don't know if he really.
I hope he did. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people in society where they don't recognize that the same way he as an adult cannot be influenced by being around homosexual people. I don't understand the thinking of people, why they feel children could be influenced to homosexuality. No,
Right, and
there's a certain level.
They do only think it applies to children, though. They do. They think it applies to children, and that's why, as adults, they didn't become indoctrinated into the gayness when they were kids. So they're like good now as adults. It's a weird. I don't know where they're living, but it's not in reality. But anyway, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it.
Pavlov's dog.
Oh, he lost
Hi,
connection.
Bex.
Hello, Bex. I tried to connect you earlier, and I don't know what happened.
I don't know. TikTok is very transphobic to me.
Sounds about right. Hello?
Hello.
How old are you?
I am 21.
Okay, what's up?
I just want to know, like, what are you trying to, like, achieve with these?
Education.
It's not. I'm not coming like sideways or anyway. I was just genuinely curious because I always see these lives, like every single day I see you live.
Education.
So do you believe that we are?
Education.
I understand that.
Okay.
Do you believe that we are pushing children to be straight?
As a society, yeah, and parents, yeah, it's more likely to be pushed to be straight than anything else.
And cisgender.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, so what about we just let kids be kids?
That would be nice.
That would be great. This is not an answer.
But when a kid comes out as gay and their parents are like, well, it's just a phase, you have to be straight, that's a problem, right? We should just let the kid be a kid.
Not necessarily, because at the same time, it's their kids, their parents, their decisions. You don't get to speak for other children or anything, but at the same time, it's children.
Wait, I thought you just said we need to let the kids be kids.
Exactly, we do. Letting them be gay is not letting them be kids. They're kids. They need to be children. They should not be taught. They should not be indoctrinated in sexuality at all.
Can I give a personal experience?
Yeah, you definitely can. Go ahead.
Yeah, so when I was
children,
16,
take a breather.
When I was
slow down a little
when I
bit.
was 16, I was on TikTok, right? Big surprise. And I had started questioning my gender at the age of like 7, to be fully honest. I never felt
you
safe
questioning your gender at age 7?
Yes.
Hey,
Oh my god.
I was age 3.
So, anyways, I had been questioning my gender since age 7, and I finally felt safe to express myself around the age of 16 because my mother had left the church and my stepdad didn't bring church into the home anymore.
Okay.
So I finally felt free to express myself and be myself. I posted TikToks, and do you want to know what adults on TikTok said to me as a 16-year-old?
What did adults on TikTok say to you?
That I deserved to burn, that I was a mistake, that I was disgusting, that I was an abomination. People, I'm assuming, on your side of the aisle.
No. Don't say that. You don't assume. Don't assume.
All right, well,
The difference is how how I accepted it and how I didn't let it completely deteriorate my entire life, people are going to tell you those things no matter what. That's going to happen.
No.
No, yes, that's going to happen. I'm straight.
No.
I've been straight for 21 years of my life, and I've been talked shit to. I've been belittled. I've been all of that.
Wait. For being straight.
Yes.
What do you shit?
Braxton, you're totally full of it. You're full of it.
See what I'm saying? Y'all live in your own reality. Like, y'all are the only people that are like.
Some lesbian turned you down and you took it personally or something?
Y'all are the only group of people that get targeted or something.
Straight. That's not a fucking thing.
Then what is the issue? Did you not just hear what she just said? Do you know what people on TikTok? Who gives a fuck what people on TikTok told you? Who cares?
You were talking about let kids be kids. I was a kid trying to be a kid on TikTok making goofy little videos, and fully grown adults were harassing me.
Saying, no, you can't be. You don't know who you are.
And so, oh my goodness.
Braxton.
You
It's
have
just
been
crazy to me.
discriminated against for
Y'all
being
live in a
straight.
different world. Y'all live in y'all's own world. If that is y'all's biggest problem, is someone telling you you cannot be gay, then y'all have a rude awakening coming for you.
Oh, you
that
have
is crazy.
serious privilege, Rex.
Oh, I have so much privilege. You're right. I have so much privilege because I'm straight. I'm just so privileged.
I have the same privilege.
Yep. You're just so privileged in life because you're straight.
Can I point something out to you, Brax? Can I point something out to you, Brax?
Yeah, you can. Of course, man. Go ahead.
Okay, so and my pronouns are she, her, by the way. So the thing here is that yes, there are shitty people, and shitty people will sit here and attack people.
For sure.
Yeah, but the difference here is that I get attacked for my relationship with my gender identity. So does Bex. And, Sherry here gets attacked for her sexuality. I don't know about you, but you being cisgendered and straight, you're not being attacked for those things.
Okay,
so.
but that is not my fault. That
It's
is
not your fault. No one
you're right.
said
It's
it was
not.
your fault.
I know.
There's no anti-straight laws.
But
either.
there's no we're not going
anti-straight
to people
laws.
are going to be
There's no laws
awful
saying straight
people
can't
no
get married.
matter what. People are going to be awful people. They're going to. The problem I have with it is we don't need to be teaching kids. When you turn 18, okay, you can be whatever you want to be.
Really?
We do not need kids. Yes, really. We don't need 10-year-old children, 12-year-old children.
Okay,
Did you
take
know
a
that you were a
breath.
boy when you were a kid? Did you know
Yes, I knew I was a boy when I was a kid.
You didn't have to wait till you were 18?
No, I did not. But
Why not?
I was not advocating for it. I was not advocating.
You couldn't know who you are. There's no way you possibly knew who you were until you turned 18.
That's not what I said. I said we should stop advocating for children to be trans. You said stop pushing trans kids to be cis. You are advocating for that. What do you mean you're not advocating for that? Happy Pride Month. Stop pushing kids to be straight. Stop pushing trans kids to be cis. Leave our kids alone. Y'all are doing the same thing on the other side.
No.
You're pushing kids to be trans. You're telling them to leave our kids alone. Yes, you are. I watch these lives. Yes, you are.
Braxton, calm down. Braxton, stop letting everybody else talk.
We can have a conversation, but you've got to be willing to have a conversation. I'm going to point something out to you. That there was a statistic done, I think it was by the Department of Justice, that if you actually teach kids about marginalized communities, that the rates of bigotry that happen to the marginalized communities end up going down. And he's probably going to leave. But the thing here, okay, he's still here. Great. That's great. So the thing here is that, when it comes to it, what we're really just teaching children is that it's okay to be trans and it's okay to be gay. It's okay to be a lesbian. It's okay to be bi. These people exist. There's nothing wrong with them. That's all we're teaching.
Right.
Okay. Can we agree that there are only two genders, though?
Hold on. No, we cannot. Hold on, though.
You're wrong on that, though.
You cannot, the thing, we're not telling cis kids that they can be trans. That's not what we're doing. The kids that are already trans, gay, we're supporting them. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Same way straight kids get supported.
Okay, and just to clarify, just so I know, because my knowledge isn't crazy on this, when you're transgender, is it you're only transgender after mutilation or no?
You're so funny, Braxton. You're so funny.
It was.
I love the way
Okay, listen. Did you not hear what I said right before? Did you not hear what I said right before? I said, let me clarify because my knowledge is not extensive on this.
All right.
Use our
Is
ears.
your gender identity?
Don't be disingenuous. You're going to use a word like mutilation.
Well, is that not what it is?
No, it's not.
It's not?
Okay.
No.
It's not mutilation?
No. If someone has a breast augmentation, is that mutilation?
Oh, that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, see? That's why.
We're talking about removing
the same fucking thing. You're just using a trigger word.
We're talking about removing the penis. No, mutilation of the penis.
Okay. Stop. Bottom surgeries do not happen until people are adults.
Exactly. The whole point I'm saying of why we need to stop.
Because they have to, their body has to be
my point
developed.
to the max.
I'm
here, dog. I'm just laughing.
So, mutilation implies violence, and this is something that people are choosing for themselves. So it's not mutilation by definition.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna need you to
have surgeries. You don't need to have surgeries to be trans. You don't have to undergo hormone.
You don't need to have surgeries to become trans?
No,
because
so if you're a boy and you feel like a girl, and you just feel like a girl. So if I say right now I feel like a girl, and I genuinely feel like a girl.
I don't feel like a girl.
How are you shushing me when I start talking, but when you start talking?
Because you're going on and on, one at a time.
One sentence at a time? Is that how I have to break it down to you?
Just slow down, because we can't explain anything.
I'm giving you time to explain. You're not letting me talk.
You've been fucking talking this whole time.
You've made off like
let's just go point for point, Brax.
Okay.
Brax, let's go point for point, okay? So
point for point.
So this is all we're gonna do is I make a point and then you make a point and then Bex makes a point.
I'm really just asking questions, so you make a point, I'll ask a question.
And then look, I just want to have a productive conversation. That's it.
For sure.
We're not gonna have one if you sit here and just continue talking. So I'm just saying, let's go by those rules. I think that's perfectly fine here. Okay. So to be trans, all it just simply means is that your gender identity does not align with your assigned sex at birth. You don't need dysphoria, you don't need hormone replacement therapy, you don't need surgeries.
So if you were born a male but feel like a female, then you're trans, right? And then if you're born a female but you feel like a man?
Hold on. No.
This is what I'm talking about. What do you mean, hold on? I'm talking.
Because you just asked the question. You just asked.
I asked a question. Okay. So what? Now you tell me what's wrong with that.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, don't say hold on. Just be like, I was stopping. Just let me come to a stop.
All right. You're mixing sex and gender. Okay, so if you're born a female, you identify as a girl. You don't feel like you are. Okay?
Okay.
You're born male, identify as a girl. Yes, you're trans.
Okay. And now, what else can you identify as?
You can identify as non-binary. You can identify as agender.
Which means what? Which means what exactly?
Not feeling like a boy or a girl.
Not feeling like a boy or a girl.
Yep.
The two genders, right?
Or both, or a combination of that, somewhere on.
But it's only the two,
spectrum.
right? It's only the two, right? We can go red and green.
Decolonization.
We can go red and blue.
Hearing.
Red and blue make yellow, but it's still red and blue.
Red and blue.
Still orange, whatever. Or green, purple, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. You get what I'm trying to say.
There's different shades. Depending on how much you mix, you get a different shade and a different level. See how that works? If you put a little bit more of one color, you get a different shade. Right?
Yep.
So sexuality.
There's different shades of sexuality.
No, what I'm saying is they're on a spectrum, so there's different levels, okay? So someone might feel 100% like a woman, like a girl.
Okay.
Someone might feel 100% like a boy or a man. Someone might feel like, and sometimes they feel more masculine or like a man. Sometimes there might be a variation, maybe depending on the day, depending on where their level is. It's all over. There's endless possibilities. And one person who has an example of this, if you just let them speak, would be Bex. Can you explain that, Bex? And just don't interrupt, Braxton. Just listen, please, okay? And they're going to explain this perfectly.
Abby's trying to come in too.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, so I am agender, which means genderless. I do not have any internal sense of gender. When it comes to me, I'm just a person. I really don't care how people perceive me. At the end of the day, I'm just Bex. And I've felt this way since I was young. Like, I never felt connected to being a girl, so I thought I was a trans man, right? Because I thought I had to be somewhere on the binary. I tried so hard to feel like at one with myself. I tried so hard to be in the binary, but it didn't work. I wasn't comfortable. I wasn't me.
I thought you weren't comfortable after those people on TikTok told you that you should burn when you were 16.
No.
I thought that's what you said earlier. You said it wasn't until then that
That's not.
I told you my gender at the age of 7, and you were like, 7?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Right. So they're saying at 7 they did not fit in with boy or girl.
And that's where it usually comes down to, you people. It's kind of like y'all didn't fit in, and so y'all feel the need to like.
It's not about fitting in and having friends.
That's what you just said, though. That's what you just said. Now you're contradicting yourself.
Fitting in that category.
Abby's turn.
That category.
Abby's turn.
Okay, wait.
No, Abby's gonna explain to you. Okay.
So I wasn't here for most of this conversation, but I've been
Abby,
listening.
what's your real name, Abby?
Abby.
Well, like your name that you were birthed with.
Abby.
Oh, you're gonna be an ass?
No, I'm not being an ass. I just know it's bullshit.
We're not dead naming people. Abby's my name. We're dealing with that.
It's not. But we can pretend.
She doesn't want to.
We like to play pretend here. I see. So.
Okay, Brock,
I'm
what's
done
your
with
name?
you. I really don't care what you have to say at this point. I tried
Let's
to have
go.
a productive conversation with you, and you just want to sit here and be an asshole instead of just coming into this conversation. So if we could just go ahead and kick this guy, that'd be great.
See you later, guys. Have fun in Fairyland.
Because you're not really wanting to have a conversation. You just want to be a fucking
Your name is
dickhead.
Jane? Your birth name is Jane, too?
I really don't give a shit about what you
Is
have
your
to
birth
say,
name
Brax.
Brax? Yeah.
I also want to point out, I blatantly told him that I had started questioning my gender at the age of 7. He reacted surprised to that, and then all of a sudden was like, "Oh, but you said 16." No, buddy, you're just so afraid to address the fact that I mentioned that it was from a young age that I had this question about my gender and where I fit in the world. I see you can't deal with having an actual conversation, which is kind of sad, but
And names, this is not unheard of. No, the sis is not my fucking name. The Rock, that is not his name on his birth certificate. That is the name that he goes by. You have no problem calling Dwayne The Rock because that is his chosen name.
Mel is not my name on my birth certificate either.
Right. When your teacher, Miss Jones, married Mr. Thompson, then you call her Mrs. Thompson. Nobody has a fucking problem with that.
Katy Perry's real name isn't Katy Perry. Surprise, surprise.
Exactly.
Lady Gaga isn't Lady Gaga. That's not on her birth certificate.
Pipple's name isn't Pipple. Pipple's name isn't Pipple.
Exactly.
My name really is Pepper.
Why are y'all so comfortable calling celebrities by anything but their birth given name, blah, blah, blah? But when it comes to a trans person being like, "This is my name, this is how I feel comfortable," you're like, no!
All right, hold on. Before we meet our new guest, Sherry, did you see what Andromeda said?
No, what is,
your name
let
isn't
me go back.
Your name isn't the sis, it's mommy. All right, Pepper, what's up?
Well, I really just wanted in with Brack, but
all right, yeah, he was awful. Okay, thanks for coming in. I have more requests. I'm looking for options. Appreciate it.
I wanted in with Brax too,
That's
and
right,
then he
Andy.
didn't let me talk, and then he tried to ask my dead name. I'm like,
gross.
Wait for the comments. Absolutely none of you have gotten close to my dead name.
Hello? Oh, you didn't connect.
I'm gonna drop just profile safety and stuff.
Is this person's name Cheese? All right, thank you, Abby.
Hello.
Hello, how old are you?
I have 2 dead names.
Okay,
so.
bye. I'm not gonna answer my question. Bye.
Hello.
I'm trying to get my echo to go away.
Hi.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Hi. I just wanted to talk about the stop pushing kids to be straight part, right? Stop pushing trans kids to be cis. Just those two. So the straight part, I do have to agree. We have had a lot of like straight couples in the media, and a lot of parents say it's just a phase when kids come out as, you know, other than straight. However, the trans part is like, for me, it's a little bit hard to understand why we should allow kids to, at least my issue is like the medical transition, right? If kids want to socially transition, okay, fine. But I'll still respect the kid's gender and their new name and how they want to go on with, you know, about their life. However, my issue is more about the, you know, the medicine. Some are reversible, some are not. But I came to...
I'm going to stop you before you just keep going on, because Sherry and I both have trans kids.
Yeah.
So we know a little more about this process. Sherry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so you believe that social transition is okay, but not medication. So after a couple of years of therapy, my son got a diagnosis of gender dysphoria, which is a distress that interferes with his life, quality of life. Recommended treatment for that at his age was puberty blockers and then HRT. So when you go to a therapist and then you go to the doctor and an endocrinologist and the pediatrician and you get a diagnosis for something and then they tell you what the recommended treatment is, you follow the recommended treatment. This is medical treatment. So what is the alternative? You're saying is just telling the doctors, no, I don't want my kid to have treatment?
Absolutely not. It's more about, okay, if I was a mother at the moment, or if I put my younger sister, since I had to raise her, right, and she came to me as trans, the reason why I was okay with like this social transition is because I have seen it firsthand. It does alleviate some sort of dysphoria in the child's life. However, I have had a lot of my peers, I'm 20 at the moment, I have had a lot of my peers detransition, hence why I made my own stance that no kid should medically transition just in case of that happening. I know that dysphoria might be prolonged and it's going to be very difficult for the child, I'm aware, but it's something that I have observed and seen firsthand.
Multiple people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you must be in the most queer space possible because
Yeah.
the actual
Where do you live
transition
at?
rate.
I'm in a Catholic school, so that should explain everything.
Well, the rate of detransition is less than 1%. It's like 0.4% of people that actually detransition because it wasn't right for them. So out of the trans people who do seek transition, 99 points just ignoring it and doing therapy alone, which you do therapy. I know a lot of people say that's the answer. No, that's not the answer. They do therapy the whole time. They never stop. So with the aid of therapy, and then starting puberty, the only thing to relieve that was a puberty blocker. The therapy alone did not relieve the dysphoria.
See, this is when like I do see different circumstances. However, I'm basically speaking more from personal experience because this person hasn't gone on any medication, it was mostly just therapy, and it was basically like a pediatrician for children that were transitioning or said that they were trans, and it wasn't like a conversion therapy or anything, absolutely not, but it was basically therapy to see what the best steps needed to be made. And I kid you not, in the middle of that, my friend just said, you know what, I think this is too much. They didn't detransition right there and then. Of course not. It takes a while. But it got to the point. Wait, host, I can't hear you.
Oh, I said that's what therapy is for, though.
Yeah, exactly. And hence why I'm all for it, but I think it's best till the child is of age and can consent.
They can consent. Medical consent, informed consent is something that you can do as a child.
I have to disagree with that.
That's actually how it works with anything medical with a child. Like my child went to the emergency room recently. She needed stitches. They asked her, would you like pain medication? She said no. Like, they actually communicate with the child. It's called informed consent. But when it comes down to something like HRT or puberty blockers, well, I don't know about puberty blockers, but HRT, there is an actual informed consent form that you have to sign. The medical professional, the parents, and the child all have to sign the form.
Okay, well, I would have to disagree with because I have seen 16 to 17-year-olds get on actual hormones or puberty blockers, and it has gotten to the point where they would have to
What that means, she didn't even do anything.
They would have to go through a long, sturdy process, of course. But it even became a situation where a 19-year-old came back and said, you know what, I don't feel comfortable. I wish that somebody, stopped me. Not stopped me, because I think stopping 19. Just quickly, not stop me, but basically sat the person down and talked to them properly about the process. Of course, that is done, but they didn't know the gravity of it because, of course, they were still children.
Bell. So first, you've got a biased opinion, and the reason I'm calling out the biased opinion is because one, you were in a Catholic school. Two, you're not understanding the other aspects of these people's lives as to why they actually transitioned. And three, what you're saying is because of these anecdotal stories, that's why I'm totally against medical care for transgender individuals that are used. The thing here is that every single statistic tells us that this medical treatment saves lives. Depression will subside in people that undergo HRT at a rate of 68%. That is better than most antidepressants. The best antidepressant on the market right now gets up to, I think it's like 51%. Second, the thing here is that, even let's say it's the case that those anecdotal stories are people that are, dang, Beck's left, are,
too.
let's say that those anecdotal stories, those people were actually just cisgender, right? And, they were confused about their gender identity. What about all the other trans people? Belle, what about all the other trans people that this has saved their life, including me and Mel's daughter?
99.6% of the time, gender affirming care is the solution. Now, gender affirming care does not always include medical transition. Not everyone has medical transition.
Yeah, I'm aware. Yeah.
This, in my hand, is the consent form for my child to start HRT. It's even called Patient Information and Informed Consent, an assent for minors.
Yes.
It's a 10-page thing talking about the benefits and risks of HRT. There are things here like your child needs to be 14 to 15 years of age, has experienced full transition for the desired gender for at least 2 years, and has been on puberty blockers for 1 year. After HRT starts, you have to have visits with the endocrinologist every 3 months. They need to have a suicide risk assessment. Sorry, I said that word. Unaliving. Laboratory testing every 3 to 6 months. X-ray of hands for bone ages. Bone scan once a year. Yearly mental health assessments. Continued counseling with therapists throughout the treatment period. Like, there is a lot that goes into this. A lot. So just saying that, like, no one should have it until they're 18 is a completely unfair stance.
Why is it unfair?
Huh?
Why is it unfair?
You would be denying a lot of people life-saving and trauma-saving healthcare.
I'm not completely denying it. Absolutely not. I'm just saying that they should wait at least till they're of age. Yeah. Pardon? Pardon?
My daughter is 14 and she is on HRT.
Okay.
I cannot imagine making her suffer for another 4 years. 4 years is a long time.
I would have to debate with that, but yeah, I don't think
what? Just based on because you have a couple friends.
It's from personal experience and my observation and things I've read onto.
My daughter she could barely function.
How?
From
the dysphoria?
From gender dysphoria.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Want me to explain the symptoms, Mel, so you don't have to sit here and share that with your daughter, about your daughter. So for me, whenever I started going through puberty, I was basically in a dissociative state. I don't really remember a lot of what was going on in puberty. I barely could look at myself in the mirror. Every time I would look into the mirror, that I would just be so uncomfortable sitting here and looking, because all I could see was all the masculine aspects of my face, my body, everything else. I could not sit here and even attempt to look at it, try to find any feminine aspects. I have this deep ass voice that I sound like a dude. And because of that, oftentimes I end up getting misgendered, but that was a result of puberty. The thing here is that, I always felt this increased anxiety, every time I had interactions with other male individuals, because I was expected to perform. And I felt like if I was sitting here and not performing up to, I wasn't going to be accepted for who I am. There was and I remember all of this because it was a trauma aspect for me. And the thing here is that it affected my health. Sometimes I wasn't taking showers because it was so uncomfortable getting out of the bath, because I could not look at myself in the mirror. Okay. I could not sit here and shave. Oftentimes because I could not stand the sight of seeing that I had a beard, and even today I have a hard time shaving when I look at the mirror, because all I'm seeing is it's just a man's face, and these are the symptoms that trans people go through, especially if they're going through it in puberty.
I am aware of the dysphoria part. I do have a fully transitioned friend, female to male, and I sat down and watched them transition since we were both 14 years old. They did transition when they were minors, so they transitioned at 16. And today they're 21, full beard, full hair, deep voice, very happy. And I've asked them because they know I'm on TikTok talking about this, and I said, do you agree that, would you have waited if law said you'd have to transition at 18 years old? And he did say that, well, he's currently in the Netherlands. He did say, the laws in the Netherlands are more softer when it comes to these type of things. They're not as strict of what's happening in the UK at the moment, or different types in different states in the US. However, they would have waited at least, because the therapy
Belle,
that they were
hold on,
receiving, the therapy
hold
that
on,
wait,
hold on. I
I
need to
just
point
want
out
to
something to
finish.
you.
I just want to
I
finish
want to
really
point, but
quickly.
you need to understand, Belle, I need to point this out to you. That's a perspective from someone who transitioned as a child. If you talk
Yes.
to people that get to the age of majority and start their transition, they will sit here, and especially including me, will sit here and say that if they could sit here, go back and start transition when they were young, and go back to that same time period, they would have already done so.
Yeah, but I've sat down with this person, right? And they did agree that all of this was basically like a process that could not be reversible. And they understood the grievances and the risk. And that's what I'm basically talking about.
Puberty is not reversible.
Pardon?
Puberty is
Puberty
not
isn't
reversible.
reversible. So okay, so you have to
But
consider,
that's
right?
the natural process of your
Wait,
sex, though.
Belle. But wait,
Very traumatizing.
but wait. Yeah. So we acknowledge that hormones aren't reversible. We acknowledge that taking testosterone or estrogen is not reversible. But the
Yes.
problem is, especially if we go through after puberty, like myself and Jane, we went through something that's not reversible, and now we're trying to do something to kind of not really reverse it, and to get to a fully transitioned point of view. I guess Sherry's back. Fully transitioned point of view. That's really privileged because not everyone has the money for it, and also like it's surgeries you have to do. Like obviously we can't like genital changing. That's obviously surgery, and that's unavoidable if you want that.
Yeah.
Like if you have the money for it and want that, it's unavoidable. But like hormone wise, I would much rather have gone through a female puberty than a male puberty, and my voice would have dropped, and all these other things. Like there's so many things that I can't reverse. Like for voicing, for the voice after it drops, there's only two ways to change that: surgery or voice training, and both of those are really long or expensive processes. Like these are you have to understand that yes, puberty, yes, hormones aren't reversible, but puberty is also not reversible. So we're going through a non-reversible thing to another non-reversible thing when we could have just gone through one non-reversible thing if we started younger.
Okay, but I do understand that you would have been way happier with having a different puberty than your sex, right? 100%. And I respect that. However, the argument of puberty is to me because puberty is something that you go through with your sex. It comes with your sex. You go through the puberty of your sex. So the fact that you're saying, well, puberty is not reversible, that is a given. It's part of. You keep interrupting me though.
Because you're really starting to piss us off.
But what's the point of a discussion?
Jane tried to talk. Let Jane talk.
So Belle,
I wasn't finished talking though.
After going through a male puberty, the only way I can change the sound of my voice is by sitting here and going through a lengthy process of voice training, or sitting here and getting surgery, an invasive surgery where they will go in my vocal cords.
An adult and you can consent to that.
But why do why do children who have gender dysphoria have to sit here and wait until they're 18? Why are you going to let them go through that whenever I'm sitting here and suffering with the sound of my voice now?
Well, that's what comes with gender dysphoria. You're suffering at the moment. If you want to transition,
why
as
do I have
kid,
to hold on?
No,
Belle, I'm not
and
going to let you.
your family supportive of that, go ahead. But my stance is, I would rather the
suffering with the
be an
sound of my
adult.
voice now because of what I went through as a result of puberty. I can't change that without massive invasive surgery on my throat or sitting here and getting vocal training. And even then, hold on 1 second, and then I want you to go, Abby. Even then, it could be possible that I will lose my voice if I get surgery. I will no longer have a voice and I will be fucking mute. Okay?
Okay, so now, addressing all of the comments that are blowing up, now we're finding out you have severely transphobic videos in your page. There's someone who watched them that we just wants to come up and talk about it. But your videos don't support people, and I would feel horrible to be your friend that's trans, because you clearly, based on whatever these videos are, they're really bad, you clearly don't fucking support your friend, and you're basing your entire worldview on this off of one singular person who said, oh, well, I transitioned as a kid, but I would have waited.
No,
If they
that's
couldn't access
incorrect.
the transition,
My view,
if they couldn't
my view
access,
comes
that's
from
if they couldn't access the transition
my
when they were a kid,
my view
then and
comes
they had to wait
from
until they were
that
18.
person, the research that I've done, and my other peers that have socially transitioned without any medication and that have went through therapies. The video is to boost my mutual who
What's
how to
your
say
video?
got
Explain the
banana.
video.
Who got banana. She basically explained how the gender ideology of being non-binary to her isn't right, and I took that snippet.
I'm non-binary. I am not binary.
Okay.
What do you mean
So
it's
I
not
took that
right? What does that
snippet.
mean?
Well, ask her. I took that snippet
No,
because I
you
knew
posted
it
the
would
video.
shake
What
some
does it mean?
tables. I knew it would shake some tables.
What did she say? What did she say?
You can watch the video.
I can't. I'm in the box. What'd she say?
That's all
I'm
right.
sorry.
She took.
I'm sorry. Wait,
No, it's
real quick.
not.
The video. Well,
Wait.
she
Real
made
quick,
the
real
video.
quick.
She posted it. Of course, I took that snippet because I knew it would shake some tables, and hopefully that would get her some followers to go back on live.
Belle, you have not done any research for yourself. None at all. You have no original thoughts and no original opinions.
Oh,
you're
shit.
saying that
The
you're
vid-
using your hold on. You're saying that you're using your friends to try to boost their page to your 1,000 bot followers.
Not my page. I'm using
Belle.
my
Listen,
you haven't listened to me. My friend
Listen,
got banana,
I'm
so I
literally
used
still
that video
talking.
to make a new account.
I was literally still talking.
But I had to
I've been
correct
quiet
you
this whole
because you
time.
were wrong.
You're trying to platform your friend to boost their publicity to your 1,000 bot followers. Are you kidding me? It's a horrible excuse.
Belle, people in the comments are ratting you out. The video is your friend saying that non-binary people and the transgender movement are dark and sinister. What the fuck is that?
Well, ask her.
You
posted it.
You're supporting it.
Is it your opinion? Belle, is it your opinion?
My opinion is that kids shouldn't transition, and what
Dark and
else?
sinister, Belle?
I wouldn't say it's dark and sinister. No, I don't.
Wait, let's
agree
go. Let's go with that. Your opinion. Okay. Your opinion is kids shouldn't transition based on what science?
None.
You said you've done your research. What science?
Not as science, but more of like the risk that could happen in the future.
So your feelings.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, your feelings.
Right.
Do you think that facts should prevail over feelings?
Absolutely not.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Facts.
Oh no, sorry. I mean, facts should prevail over feelings. Yeah, of course. Sorry.
So why aren't you holding that standard to this subject?
I am.
No, you're not. You literally hold on because you literally. Belle,
I admitted that it's from my
Belle,
feelings, though.
No, Belle, you came in with anecdotal stories about why you're against kids transitioning. You've got anecdotes, you've got no scientific research, you've got no studies to sit here and prove to us. You just sat here and said,
I do have articles.
Oh, well, my trans friend said that she
Wait,
was
great. What article?
Please.
Great. What article? Great. What article?
So hold on. I have to look it up.
People went to your friend's page because you reposted their video. Your friend's a TERF.
A TERF. Okay, that's fine. You
Belle,
can
why
call
are
it
you such
TERF.
a pussy?
No, it's not.
Yo, Belle, why are you such a pussy? You can't even say what you actually believe. You're just hiding behind your
I
friend's
do
bullshit turf
believe.
argument.
How
What's your
am I-
fucking problem, you slug person?
Okay, so from
You have no fucking original thoughts. Boom, nailed it. Hit it right on the head. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're just in a fucking group. You're in a clique of TERFs who fucking hate people. Shut the fuck up. I'm talking.
From an article that I have, this doctor.
Don't care. I honestly could not
But
care
she
less.
has
Find
explained-
a fucking mushroom in the woods. Hopefully it'll take you out, you stupid bitch.
She has worked at a gender clinic, and she expressed how she's worried about trans
Worked
kids.
at a gender clinic.
Yes. So she has expressed how she was worried for kids transitioning because parents had a script on what to say and how to basically make their kids transition because they thought it was the right thing for their children, where it became a thing where when they were of age or a few years or months down the line, they came back saying that they wanted to do transition. Now, she has expressed that the language has been changed and so on, and that wasn't the push, like saying cis or saying sex was different from gender. That wasn't it. It was more about the children coming and voicing their concerns, even though their parents were supportive.
Where is this? Where?
The source.
Hold on, let me give
Where
it
is
to
this?
you.
Where is this happening?
Yeah, I would love to know the article.
Give me a second.
I would love to know
It's
the
funny
article.
how she can sit here and talk to two trans people and two mothers of trans kids, and we can tell other things, and she's not opening to listening at all. You already have your mind made up. You're looking for confirmation
And she's a
bias.
friend with a TERF, and she's posting dark and sinister stuff about non-binary people, and
invalidating people. You don't care.
Are you in the UK?
Community.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you do realize, I don't know all the details on this. Aaron's the expert on this, but you do realize that they had to reevaluate their the way that they handle trans care because they don't follow like gender affirming that the United States uses, where we follow the W path.
I'm aware, yes.
Right. Right. So yes, there were some clinics that weren't handling things the best way and doing as much monitoring as they do in the United States.
So you would see,
they
so
put
you
a
would see
stop to that
why,
so that they could fix the situation.
so
Right.
you
And
would
then they've
see
worked
why
on
I
that.
have this opinion. So it's not coming. It's not just coming
And
off.
it's been corrected.
It's being addressed.
Mel, check Cash App. Mel, check Cash App.
It's being addressed.
It's already. Thank you. It's already being addressed, though. It's being addressed. So now you still have a problem. The United States, the people that you're talking to right now against this care, we have the gender affirming care process. We've been talking to you about it this entire time, and you're still like, oh well, no.
We follow the WPATH guidelines, and that is what the UK is starting to copy.
That is against the non-binary community.
How is it against?
Dark and
Your friend called us dark and sinister.
We're not going to get through to her.
But man, I'll get Cash App stickers,
read
so might as well get rid of her.
information, please. Do some research that's updated. Get some updated scientific information. Actually do correct research. Jeez.
Why? Why do people like wasting our time so fucking much?
Water check, hydration check. Everybody drink some water. Mel, go get some more water. Mel, do yourself a favor. Take a 30-second break. Go grab some more water. We'll chat amongst ourselves. We're gonna make everybody. We're gonna entertain the chat for a minute.
See, you guys think I eat all healthy? I had to eat a donut.
You're making me want one.
Everybody, everyone, do yourselves all a favor. Take 3 breaths. Woosah. I know everyone's got elevated feelings at the moment and are very valid at the moment. But yeah, unfortunately, people are terse, and there's just no getting through to some people, and they're really annoying.
I just want you to imagine this, right? To correct. Let's say you broke your spleen, right? Let's say your spleen broke open, right? And we said you can't sit here and get the corrective surgery for your spleen until you're 18 years of age.
That uses logic. That follows logic, and they don't use that. So. TERF means trans exclusionary radical feminist.
I know my views are really high, but I have had this live going on for a long time.
Up to you. What do you want to do?
Well, I just don't want anybody else getting any beans. I also have 13 requests, so I guess I'll just leave it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
me one second. I'm sorry, I'm in a tractor.
Can you mute?
Yeah, mute till you get it situated.
How do
Thank
you
you.
request when you're not like ready?
I'm doing my nails again, by the way.
Nice.
Are you sure you're not a girl?
You know, I have this inner sense of self that tells me I'm a man.
All right, Jonathan.
How y'all doing? I don't got no education. I've seen your videos on live. I just want to have a understanding of where y'all are coming from.
Okay.
On your standpoint.
You broke up.
What? Trans kids or LGBT kids?
About y'all's belief. Yes, sir. Or yes, ma'am.
But you're like breaking up some, so I'm not sure what you're saying.
Yeah, repeat that.
Give me one. I don't got no education on it. I want to understand y'all's end goal and
On what specifically?
y'all's beliefs on your quote prompt that you got up on the screen.
Stop pushing kids to be straight?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
I get that. I just want to understand where
We live in a heteronormative. We live in a society that's heteronormative. So being straight is what's pushed in media and in families. That is the expected outcome, and that's what most people are given. Even if people do come out gay, they are still encouraged to be straight. That's what we mean.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the only question you have.
Well, there's another thing.
Okay.
I remember when I went to school, I was taught constitutional rights. We had the pursuit of happiness. So I guess it's more of a question for all the other assholes before me.
Okay.
Why the hell are they judging others for pursuing their happiness? If you have the right to be happy, shouldn't you be able to do it at any age?
Because they like to pick and choose who that applies to.
Anybody.
That's the problem.
It's not pick and choose when it's a God-given right.
I mean, I feel you there.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Or conservatives are all about, personal rights and having the right to do what you want, but then they don't believe in medical care. So, make it make sense. It doesn't.
Yeah, I mean that's more of a question for the previous guest that we can't really answer, but I get where you're coming from.
People send me the weirdest things.
All right. I thank y'all.
Kid-hating weirdo. Okay. Whatever.
All right. Bye, Jonathan.
Thank you. That was actually a nice little palate cleanser.
Oh God, this bio. Oh my God.
Here we go.
Is there a flag in it? Is it? Oh, I see country.
Is it Truth Seeker?
Hello.
Goodbye.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I looked at the bio. Wow.
Did you see it? Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't read it. Probably glad I didn't.
Oh my gosh. I'm a red-blooded, unvaxxed, and proud.
Yeah.
Oh, so like conspiracy theorist.
If you are in my request and you agree, can you please withdraw your request? I'm looking for opposition. Please, please. You can just, like the way you went to request, just do it again and then hit withdraw.
Sure. No. Sure.
Marcus.
Oh, cool. Threat. I love threats. Hello?
Hello? Yeah. I think that's a pretty bad statement you're making.
Great, why?
Okay.
Because being gay or LGBTQ or trans is what you're saying, right? You're saying that you're saying let these kids be trans or make them be. You're talking for all of them.
We're saying let kids be kids.
Yeah. If a kid is trans, then we support that kid. If a kid is gay, we support that kid. If a kid is straight, we support that kid.
Okay, but there's a problem with being LGBTQ. It goes against everything that's right.
Let's let him
Everything
cook.
that's right. Okay.
Right.
That's your stance?
Yeah, being LGBTQ, that's a bad decision, basically.
Based on what?
Please.
Based on the point of a person being born.
What?
People are born how they're born.
Okay. Ultimately, there's a point to a person being born. And
what is the point?
And it comes down to survival. And
survival.
Serving the Lord and reproducing, is that what it is? Serving the Lord and reproducing, is that why we're born?
Right.
Just to be baby makers?
Right.
Is that it?
Right. We're born as human beings. There's two types of human beings. You got a man and a woman. And survival is the key to humanity, period.
No, it's not.
If everybody turns gay or LGBTQ, then we're talking about a state of emergency coming in the near future.
This argument. Oh my God, everyone's turning gay. Oh my God.
Let me ask. Wait, I got this.
I'm still straight.
I got this. So what's the point of the human race continuing? Why is it so important?
It's important if we want to survive.
Well, I want to survive as like me.
I mean, what's the point if we don't want to survive? I mean, I guess everybody just do whatever.
So are you like, do you think we should be taking care of the environment? Do you believe in climate change?
Yeah, we should do everything we possibly can to ensure our future, to ensure a better future for who? Our kids.
What if people raise kids, right?
So what if your kid is gay, though? Do you try to make them straight?
I would not promote LGBTQ to any kid. That is, to me, that's a destructive.
Your kid is already gay. Your kid is gay. Your kid says, I am gay.
Well, then I accept my kid for how he is and who he is.
So that's what we're talking about, right? We're not promoting for kids to turn gay.
Okay, but what is the point of a parent?
What is the point
of raise their kid?
Raise a kid, right? A parent will give a kid instructions on what to do to live a better life, or somewhere along in there, right?
What
something like that.
Do you give to your kids? Do you tell your kids that they should be straight? Are that the instructions?
Yeah, I would tell my kids that.
So just because you tell them that doesn't mean they will be, though.
Right. It doesn't matter. I could tell my kid not to smoke weed. He'd probably still smoke weed. But it's my job as a parent to raise my child and give them the right instructions.
It's your job as a parent to support your child.
Okay, so if my child says I'm the opposite sex, I'm supposed and I'm depressed if I don't become the opposite sex, I'm supposed to support them. Is that what you're saying?
Well, first of all, they wouldn't tell you that they're the opposite sex. They would tell you that they're the opposite gender.
Okay, well, they're the opposite gender.
And yes.
And then you support them.
By doing what?
By affirming them. By getting them therapy.
Talking about their feelings.
Yeah, having conversations with them. Making sure they're okay.
Getting them what they need.
Okay, now this is a very pricey transition, so I'm supposed to pay for this. And why should I pay for this?
Pay for what? Therapy?
Why? Yeah. Why should you pay? Why should you pay for any kid's health care?
Isn't that part of your job as a parent to provide your child health care?
Well, my kid believes that he's a woman.
You don't have insurance?
Your kid would believe they're a girl.
They got beans too. 2 people in a row. I'm gonna reset.
Okay, I'll be back.